original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56, 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Francis and Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stack, Sportsworthy, and Brian Davis.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. So much to get to over these next 3 hours. A lot of good, including the NFL draft last night. That was a lot of fun. We knew Cam Ward was going to go number 1 to the Titans. We felt pretty confident that Travis Hunter would go number 2, but we did not know it was going to be to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll talk the good, but also some bad. The Grizzlies last night, they lose up 29 points at one point in the second quarter, allow the Thunder to come all the way back and win following a Ja Morant injury that kept him out of the game. The other bad news, he will not be returning for Game 4 tomorrow afternoon. And Brett, just in case things couldn't get any worse, have you checked in on the Zurich Classic down in New Orleans? Have you seen who's leading? Not Landon's first choice, not Landon's second choice, Landon's third choice, and the 9th pick in an 8-pick draft after we found out his first pick was not playing, so he had to re-pick. And, Andrew Novak and Ben Griffin leading right now. If that holds over the weekend, I might not be back on Wednesday when we make golf picks again. A lot of golf left to play, but I was a little stunned when I saw that earlier.
I think a formal complaint should be issued to the committee of the Wednesday golf pickers for a 9th pick. Only because we were nice people was that allowed.
And it was you that was the nice person. I was saying that's on him. Don't give him another pick. Honestly,
so now we're anti-John?
Look, we're anti-somebody. I don't know.
Golf picks got really ugly early this year.
It's gotten really ugly, and it's going to get uglier if
Landon, you're the cause of a lot of the ugliness in the golf picks.
Well, it was never my intention. All right, I'm just here to have a good time, have some fun play, and my letter's already written to the committee of niceness for golf picks.
I think we're getting the old shakedown. I think I've walked in a couple times.
The Standards and Practices Committee will have to meet.
Well, Brett, we've had other producers, we've had other people that have worked up here and have done golf picks either with us or on other shows, and maybe they're not huge golf people, and I'll walk in and they'll be on their computer. I've walked in a couple times, Landon telling me I'm not a huge golf watching fan. I've walked in a couple times and I've seen him watching golf on his computer. So the old shakedown might be in play right now, Brett.
I'll use a golf term. Sandbag.
Hey, we might be on to something, Brett. I don't know.
I'm usually only watching after I've made my picks to just see how they're doing, catch in, maybe get a cup of coffee, something like that. Just see where they are. But I do not watch it as religiously as
I'm
anything
worse.
I'm keeping
is
my
it
eyes
anything
on you.
worse than playing with that guy, whatever it is, 2-man, 3, whatever event you're at? On the other side, I've never played like this in my life.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst.
It's like Johnny in the basketball picks last year.
I'll tell you what's worse than that, and it's happened to me a couple times, playing with a guy where you're just awful and they're not playing great, and but they're playing much better than you, but not maybe great, but they're playing much better than you, and they go, man, this is the worst round of golf I've ever played. And I'm like, okay, great.
Thanks.
Glad you came down to my level for
the only
for this
thing
time.
Worse than playing with the guy I've never had a day like this in my life is playing with the guy that you can overhear their conversation when they go, I know he's never played like this before. I had that corrected him.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. Wow. Well, I think we've gone long enough without talking about last night, trying to avoid it as much as possible.
Can't bury that lead, can
but you cannot, and it's a very hard transition to make to
29-point LEAD.
Yes, that was bad last night. That was I don't even know what's worse. What's worse, a grizaster or a just straight up disaster? I think a disaster is worse than just a grizaster.
That's a great question. I think we'd have to get foremost authority on grisasters from Eli Savoy, the father of the term, and he's got $5 live doppers to keep an eye out for everybody. I think a grisaster is when you just totally don't see it coming.
Sure.
So, but that would kind of suffice last night, up 29 at one point, 26 at half.
Yeah. I was more thinking along the lines of, Grisaster is just Grizzlies. Maybe it's only team-centric. That was a disaster across the entire sport. I mean, that was awful last night.
What last night did and last Sunday did, I talked about it Monday. I said, I know what I said. I said, it will be a long time washing this off. It will, and it won't be with, grabbing one in this series. Then you compound it with that last night. The only thing that will make people start to move on from this in Grizzlies world, it's not going out there next year and winning 60 games.
No.
It's not going out there and being the 1 seed next year. It's whenever, whether it's next year or in 2 years, or I hope it's not anything past that. It's the next time you advance in a playoff series. You're going to have to win a playoff series to get that out of your mind. I've really said that about the Tigers' loss up in Columbus to FAU. That with the route that they had, this one would be remembered for a long time. I said it was the worst loss in Tigers history. I think last night the worst playoff loss in Grizzlies history. And if it's not, it's due to the triple overtime loss to Oklahoma City in 2011 in the second round of the playoffs.
Sure. I would put it.
A Clippers loss is in there, too, in playoff losses.
I would say it's the worst. I mean, just the way it happened.
I think I would, too, Brian. And I'm not much for, although my Giants, I'm not much for latest is the greatest.
Right.
Heat of the moment.
I'm surprised you're not wearing your jersey again.
As a veteran Grove goer, I'm never one to say that's the best looking girl I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
I think I only say that about once a weekend at football weekends. But that last night driving home, it was really a couple of times I out loud driving. Wow, that really happened. That really happened.
Yeah.
The full squander of the lead. I don't want to preach at anybody. I sure don't want to have conflict with our listeners, with our audience, with Grizzlies fans. But I know the easiest thing to do today, and it had a major contributory factor to last night, was the injury to Ja Morant. I do not think it was dirty. He literally slipped. I mean, he lost. Dort lost it. I know Dort's almost Draymond that you can make him public enemy number one. I don't think it was malicious. Don't think it was intentional. I think it was a horrible accident, and it was a horrible injury. I thought he had broken his entire chest bone.
Oh, man.
His entire chest.
Oh.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I mean, he broke his fall with nothing but just splat, almost flat. But even after Ja Morant goes out, you have two of the three of the supposed putative big three. We don't have a big three. And I don't want to use that voice today. I really don't. Because I know people are hurting. I am. And last night would have made tomorrow puncher's chance. Fun, go get them. House money, whatever. What the heck? Now we know tomorrow is going to be the march to the guillotine.
That's right. No doubt about it. I mean, you mentioned it
with
yesterday.
3 starters out now.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it yesterday about how, okay, well, who knows what kind of crowd you see tonight, 8:30 on a weeknight, down 2-0, haven't looked good at all. But, if you go out there and you rally and you win the game, well, then Saturday, down 2-1, all the energy, maybe momentum shifting a little bit, then it's a huge crowd. Everyone's ready to rock.
Who knows when they have the turned ankle? We're not hoping for that, but we know with Ja, every playoff series that he practically has been in, he's out of game.
Yeah, and so, I mean, you never know when an injury is going to strike.
Or more.
So, I mean, it could have been that energy boost that this team needed if everything had remained on course. And you mentioned that. I mean, this big three that everyone considers. I've been thinking about this a lot. I hope at least that people consider this a quote-unquote big three, if that's what you want to call it, because of the money that they are wanting and getting and have received. I mean, Jaron's about to ask for a bunch of money. Desmond's asked for a bunch of money.
I don't think of them as that. I think of the money as that's the marketplace.
Sure, but Jaron, I mean, I don't know how you can give him what he's going to be asking for this offseason or whenever he asks for it.
Well, if you don't, someone will.
And let him. I say let him. I say go all right ahead. And
I think last night, I hope he gets well and he goes on to a great career, but I hope last night was the last time we see the big three.
Yeah.
I hope last night, and they've shut Ja down.
Sure.
No surprise. I think he's very badly injured.
Yeah.
And wish him well, but Bain, I don't ever want to see again.
I mean,
I don't see Jaron after tomorrow ever again.
And this
trade him. It's time for the blow up, and the blow up is top down.
Sure.
Wexler, Kleinman, coaching staff, scouts, support staff, players.
Yeah. Well, and my point is Desmond Bain's getting $200 million or however much he's getting. Jaren Jackson's about to ask for close to a max contract. And when John Morant went down last night, neither one of them were able to step up and at least just
not even close.
Have a pulse. I mean, you have a pulse last night and you win that game. You know, I mean, they just had nothing. And
nothing.
I mean, Desmond Bain. I was looking into this because Desmond Bain has not been good.
Not a very good defender.
Any of these games. In the last three playoff games, so just this series, the first three games of this series, he's shooting 30.2% from the field and 20.8% from three. If you go back, including these three games and the last time the Grizzlies were in the playoffs, so that is 9 games in total, 6 games the last time they were in the playoffs, 3 games here, Desmond Bain is shooting 28.3% from 3-point land. That can't happen. He's your
line
guy
drive
that
brick.
You talk about being your 3-point shooter, and he is just when the lights are bright, when it's playoff time, he is not stepped up.
What's his greatest attribute?
Well, it's supposed to be shooting, but in playoffs,
it's certainly not that.
It hasn't been there. You know.
No, it's not that. And a lot of times, Bryant, I wanted to make the playoffs because I wanted to say 14 out of 24,
sure.
583 percentage, and have more games and the shot, the hold.
Sure.
And I wanted it also for this. Sometimes, and I know of coaches that have played players. I had to play him where he could see, his parents could see, and the fans could see he can't play.
Sure. Yeah.
I had to show them.
Yeah.
And I could cite examples of it. I think we needed collectively, media, fans, 901, Grizz fan, we needed collectively to see we don't have a coach, we don't have a big three, we don't have a general manager, and we got a president of basketball operations that's never done it before, and I don't know how in the world selling real estate makes you where you can run an NBA team.
Yeah, well, it's a great question. I wish I had the answer to it, but no.
We had to get to this point. We had to get to and look into the fiery abyss, and we have. Now, with that, are we prepared for what that full A to Z teardown looks like?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Do you think anybody in our listening audience, anybody in the aforementioned Grizz fam, the 901, in this area is ready for that 2 or 3 year rebuild?
No, absolutely not. Not at all. I know I'm not ready for it.
You can't have both.
No.
You're going nowhere with this cast. Nowhere. No. You've been nowhere with them. I mean, this is year 7 of Jaren and 6 of Ja.
Yep.
We've seen what this will do. And Brian, remember around trade deadline, I was team set still. Let's see what this group can do. Well, we've seen it.
Yeah, we have. And it is it's not been good. In that second half last night, you shoot 25%.
And the empty seats last night.
Yeah, I mean, it was all there. And
two-thirds full.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, you would know better than I did.
Yeah.
I was just watching on television.
I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah.
I'm better than most people believe in the Tiger box scores.
Yep.
Tiger fans, that's what about 11,000, 12,000 really looks like last night.
Yep. And so, I mean, it was just a pathetic second half
all those nights
performance.
they think they have 14,000 there, please.
No chance. No chance. But, I mean, in that second half, only 9 made field goals, 13 turnovers. I mean, that is just, I don't even know how you explain that. It's just not a way to explain 9 made field goals and 13 turnovers in
and
a
man
half of
named
basketball.
Caruso on defense.
Man, he was incredible. He was incredible.
If the ball ever gets down close to waist high, he's got his hand on the basketball.
He sure does.
He's making trouble. He totally disrupts the high pick and roll.
I mean, he disrupts everything. I mean,
he disrupts everything.
He's incredible. I mean, he is matched up with Jaren Jackson Jr. down low on the block and is stripping the ball away from him, diving on. He's the only one on the ground. I think I counted 3 or 4 times last night where he's on the ground fighting for a loose ball, and everyone else is just standing there looking at him. I mean,
meanwhile, back in Memphis, so many people wanting to fight over the minutes and the playing time for flipping John Conchar, Oklahoma City's dealing for Caruso.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and Conchar was he's great last night. 1 for 3 from the field. I mean that bench was really bad in that second half. Everyone was really bad in that second half. We'll talk a lot about it throughout today's show, but let me set up the show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from Driving the Line. He'll join us. We'll talk wagering with him. We'll get his thoughts on the NFL draft last night, but we'll get a lot of picks from him. NBA, MLB, maybe even some college baseball. We'll do all of that in our next segment with Alan Bell. 3:45, we'll get back into the conversation of the Grizzlies falling 3-0 against the Thunder with the epic collapse last night in the second half following Ja Morant's injury. It was great. I mean, the start of that game up until that injury was phenomenal. Best the Grizzlies have played in a really long time is
that crowd was great.
The crowd was great. I mean, everything was great. Oklahoma City could not get anything going.
8:46 tip.
I mean, it was awesome. Until the injury happened. And then when that injury happened, everything changed and all of the energy left the Grizzlies. And the game changed right in that moment and led to that loss last night. We'll talk about that at 3:45. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. He'll join us. We'll talk more wagering with him. We'll get his thoughts on the draft as well, but also we'll talk a lot of NBA, get picks from him as well. We'll get his thoughts on the state of the Memphis Grizzlies also. 4:30, we'll talk about the draft. Really fun last night. Hard at times, bouncing back and forth between draft and the Grizzlies once that game started. We were at about pick 13, I believe it was. When the
almost
Grizzlies
got halfway done. But
sure did. And they were kind of moving there early. It was.
Then all the trade backstage machinations really grounded to a halt.
Then it slowed it down. It really slowed it down towards the end. We'll talk about the draft, everything that happened last night, and all the talk today. Shedeur Sanders still on the board, and where will he land after we saw one team trade up to get their quarterback, but that quarterback was Jackson Dart. He now goes to Brett's New York Giants. I mean, it wasn't Jackson Dart that made you a Giants fan. You already had the jersey yesterday. I mean, nobody can call you a bandwagon.
I stuck with him after I stuck through Danny Dimes.
That's right. I mean, you were there.
I never wavered.
When the when the third string came in,
it was my mojo that pushed him over the line yesterday.
Right. Oh, exactly. You've
breaking
been a believer.
Out the Eli jersey.
That's right. You've been a believer. Now they get the Ole Miss quarterback. We'll talk about the draft at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Gary Darby from the Grizzlies Radio Network. He'll join us. We'll talk about everything that took place last night, the reaction from the loss, and where this team goes from here. We know it goes to tomorrow's Game 4, but it is looking very bleak after that. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. A lot to get to there, including Showboat Bankroll. Showboats in action later tonight against the Birmingham Stallions. 11.5-point underdogs for your Memphis Showboats tonight. So we'll do that during what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pools starting at $19.99 installed, and liners starting at $299. All pool accessories up to 20% off, and 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99. Swim spas and cold plunge tubs $2,000 off, and patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Mention this ad and get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We're Sports Time, and we're with you until 6 o'clock, and we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. He's Bryant, I'm Brett. We're produced by Landon Schmidt. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. We're always in our Family Leisure studio, and this hour always brought to you every single day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all the 2025 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they want you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's the Memphis Grizzlies and their loss last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. 114-108, the final score. Everything was going great in the first half. The Grizzlies building a 29-point lead and looking like they were going to make it a 2-1 series with a win at home. I saw someone on social media posted they took a picture at the exact moment Ja Morant went down with his injury while he was in the air. Someone snapped a photo, and you could see in the background on the big screen the team stats for both teams. So at the time,
that's photo of the year.
Oh, I mean, it was a great photo. It was incredible that someone was able to capture that. At that moment, when Ja Morant is in the air falling over Lou Dort, the Grizzlies were shooting 58% from the field, 52% from three. They were holding OKC to 38% from the field and 17% from three. They were out rebounding the Thunder 25-22, and they were winning points in the paint 24-16. Well, all of that changed after the injury. All of it certainly changed in the second half. Only 31 points for the Grizzlies. Shot 25% from the field, 15% from three. Only 9 made field goals and 13 turnovers in the second half. They watched that lead dwindle and dwindle and dwindle until OKC took it from them and won it. They did not score over the last 4 minutes and 52 seconds. They had a 9-point lead with 8:30, 3-point lead with 6 minutes, and then over the last nearly 5 minutes, did not score a single point. That cannot happen. I don't care. We've talked so much about how great OKC is defensively. I don't care if you're playing the greatest defense in the history of basketball. You gotta score a point over the last 5 minutes
had
of a
Santi
game.
Aldama running the point.
I mean, I don't even know. I mean, some of the lineups that were out there. I mean, you've got your guy. You know, we were just talking about him. You know, John Conchar in the game at the end of the game throwing up threes. It just cannot happen.
A cry for help.
A cry for help. And then what Caruso did, you know, guarding Jaren Jackson, 4 steals in that second half, a couple of blocks.
John Conchar play better than you can.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
I'm 63 years old.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he can play better than me, but I'm also not anywhere near the NBA. Caruso gave them a spark, and he showed that intensity, that playoff intensity that on the other side, the Grizzlies showed they had nobody on the court that could even come close to matching that postseason intensity.
Way past time, but it is truth-telling time about the Grizzlies. My top story, when Ja went down, the air went out at FedEx Forum. It was maybe peak playoff crowd, not the biggest crowd, not even as big as last Friday night that was one of the peak
but it was rocking.
Non-regular season games, playing whatever it was. It was rocking until the big hit. It was an accident. It wasn't dirty. He literally slipped. Yeah. And once again, 6 feet and 170 pounds is laid out just flat as a pancake on the floor for too many times. He can't help it. He doesn't want to be hurt. He's just not that big. This is a league now that doesn't have small players excelling. Whatever he's listed as, he's not that. And we know around the league there aren't the smaller player anymore because big matters, especially at playoff time. Big matters. This is 6 years now. And in that 6 years regular season, Ja's played in 307 career games. That's 51 per year. Most played is 67 in a single year. That was when he was a 20-year-old rookie with no tread off the tires. Deal him now. There's no way you can get more a year from now or 6 months from now at trade deadline time next year, whenever it is, that you can get right now. Trade him right now.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. You got to figure out what you can get the most back for any of these guys, and it feels like a big change is going to be coming once Game 4 is complete tomorrow afternoon.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it was the NFL Draft Round 1 last night. We knew that the number 1 overall pick was going to be quarterback Cam Ward. He was going to be taken by the Tennessee Titans. We felt pretty good that Travis Hunter would be the second player taken off the board, but we all thought he was going to the Cleveland Browns. That's when a trade ensued, a massive trade where the Jaguars traded up to number 2. They traded the number 5 pick, a second-round pick, and their 2026 first-round pick to the Browns for number 2, a fourth-round pick, and a sixth-round pick to take Travis Hunter. Some of the other big news from the night was the second quarterback taken off the board. That was the question. Who would be number 2? When would they be taken? Well, it was later in the first round when the Giants traded back into the first round to get their guy, Jackson Dart. That means Shedeur Sanders was still on the board, and at the end of the night, Shedeur Sanders' name still on the board. Where will he land? How early or late will he go tonight? It feels like a couple of teams up there towards the top of the second round. I know Cleveland has 2 picks of the top 4.
Shefty says he could drop into the third round.
That's what I mean, you're
And who's going to doubt Shefty?
Oh, well, that's a great point.
He's got more than one cell phone.
He looked great last night. I mean, his fit last night was fantastic. Had the shirt and tie under a hoodie, under a sports coat. It was, that was fashion right there. I was loving it all night long. It was a statement, that is for sure. But it was a fun night at the draft. Now the big question, is Shedeur the next quarterback off the board? There was a long time where we thought he would be number 2. There was even a point where some people thought he would be the first quarterback taken off the board.
Number 1, no doubt.
Exactly. And so now, will he be number 3? We'll find out here in a couple hours.
That's my not top story. First, almost a co-top story. Green Bay has it shined.
Man, it was awesome.
Way to go, lovable little old Green Bay.
It was beautiful.
Titletown, and what they've done to that footprint around, and big footprint around the stadium.
How about your guy Lil Wayne coming out to start the draft?
Lil Wayne?
Yeah. Which I don't
understand. I miss all the fun.
Lil Wayne is a massive Packers fan, but I don't understand because he's from Louisiana. He grew up down the street from New Orleans. I don't understand. I understand why he's not a Saints fan.
The drop of Shedeur Sanders was big, and the Giants taking Jackson Dart over him was big. It will play out today. Defenders of Shedeur Sanders, don't distress. Don't worry too much. Defenders of Jackson Dart, don't spike the football at Shedeur Sanders' feet, because both of them are 0-0 right now.
Exactly.
This will play out. One will be better than the other one in due time. It may take about 3, 4, 5 years kind of for that first reading of it. Let's hope it's not anytime sooner for either one of them. I want them to have a fighting chance. But at the end of it, 10, 11, 12 years, they'll both be retired and it'll all be over, and we'll be able to know who was better. So, but we want, if you want to have a big crybaby hot take today and be all down about it, don't. It will play out. Football will happen.
Yeah. That is the beauty and the ugliness of immediate draft grades.
You know where football happened with Jackson Dart?
On the field.
Lane Kiffin pushed him to be competitive with Luke Altmaier. Luke Altmaier's a good player.
Sure did.
He pushed and pushed and pushed, and it made him better.
That's right. It absolutely did. And so, everyone's 0-0, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions right now. That will all change once they step foot on the field. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Quickly, want to remind you, keep listening all day long. The Grizzlies playoff payoff. You never know when we're going to give $98.50 away. Big thank you to our sponsors, Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold inspector in the Mid-South, and Club Car Wash. Get 25% off any membership for 12 months right now at Club Car Wash. Well, let's go ahead, get to a break. When we return, we're talking some wagering with Alan Bell.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
too yet?
Yes, I did.
Well, last year when I told you to file early to get your refund quick?
Yes, I remember.
Well, go ahead and call now, and you can get your refund fast.
Thanks. That's why I love you. Always looking out for your little sis.
To get your taxes filed quick and get your refund fast, go to Brenton Tax Service, located in Midtown Memphis on Madison Avenue. We may not be related to you, but at Brenton Tax Service, we protect you like family.
Spring is in the air, and that means it's time to get your Choate's AC tune-up. Choate's has proudly served the Mid-South for 67 years, and to celebrate, we're offering our AC tune-up for just $67 per unit. Make sure your system is running efficiently before the summer heat arrives. But hurry, this special offer won't last long. And if you're thinking about upgrading your system, now's the time. Install a new Carrier HVAC system and choose your deal. Up to $2,100 in instant cool cash rebates, 60 months no interest financing, or free air duct cleaning with install. It's time to spring clean with Choate's and enjoy cleaner air, better comfort, and big savings. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to schedule your service today. Turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
Wonderfully easy. If your agent is Margie O'Neill of Remax Expert, Margie has over 20 years of experience in helping folks just like you find their new home. Buyers markets, sellers markets, up and down markets, Margie has sold them all with a dedication that makes it easy for you to buy your new home. Margie O'Neill at Remax.net. That's MARGIE.ONEAL at Remax.net. Or call 901-685-6000 for your new home. Margie O'Neill makes it easy. This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Building on all the major outbound routes, especially trying to get down through the Midtown area just to the last, 15, 20 minutes here on 240 at South Parkway. It's moving through the construction zone this afternoon, 55 north and southbound between Macklemore and South Parkway. 240 holding up right now as you hop on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says none of this is a problem. Call Lawn Solutions right now, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Tires. Here are your hosts, Let's Talk Sports with Brian Davis.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Brian Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now to talk some wagering from Driving the Line, Alan Bell joins us now. Alan, thanks so much for joining us. Going to get to some picks. I want to get your thoughts on these NBA series and some baseball as well. But I want to start off by getting your thoughts on the NFL draft last night. What were some of your big takeaways from what we saw in round one last night?
Yeah, man. First off, appreciate you guys having me back. And, biggest thing was, obviously the quarterbacks, right? We knew Cam Ward was going to go number one. And then the question was, all right, who was going to be the next guy? All right, was it going to be Jackson Dart? Was it going to be Shedeur Sanders? Was it going to be Jalen Monroe? And it ends up being Jackson Dart, and the Giants, move up to go get him. And I thought that the Giants, went after the guys that they wanted. Mm-hmm. They get the player on defense that they want. They get the player on offense that they want, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers, were they going to draft a quarterback? Obviously, they went defense, which is the most Steelers thing of all time, right? But now the question is Shedeur Sanders. When does he go, and where does he go?
You wrap it up pretty well, Alan, and I just got through saying right before we went to break, before we joined you, had you join us, rather, I don't want people on either side of it thinking that it's over. This is not only the beginning of the race, this is stretching, getting ready for the race. Nobody's won anything yet. No more than Josh Rosen had won anything when he was the 10th pick over Lamar Jackson as the 32nd pick.
Oh, absolutely, man. And, look at it from a betting perspective, right? Like, I think the percentage now of the last, 10 years, something like that only like 52% of first-round players end up getting a fifth-year deal on their, rookie contract, right? So, yeah, man, it's not over by far. And, you've got to build this thing out, throughout the entire draft, and it's fascinating to see a team like Cleveland, to where Jacksonville, trades a lot to get that number 2 spot, to go get Travis Hunter and they go get the weapon for Trevor Lawrence. But what does Cleveland do, with all of those picks, right? So, oh yeah, you're absolutely right, man. It's only just
it's just getting started.
Yep.
Yeah, it absolutely is. When you look, obviously, the big story, Shedeur Sanders still on the board. Where do you see him landing? What team do you think maybe makes a move or takes him tonight?
And how would you bet it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, right? Now you get into the mode of, okay, who needs a quarterback, right? And, there's really not a ton of teams that do. Mm-mm. Like, we've got a lot of quarterbacks around I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, I mean, he still doesn't have a team, right? So, you look and you say, all right, the Steelers need a quarterback. Are they willing to trade up to go do it? History would tell you no, but who knows, right? Does Cleveland take a shot at him tonight? They've got, I think, 2 picks in the first 5 or something like that. Right?
But they got Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Flacco, yeah. And I'll say this, man. Let's say Cleveland does end up taking Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur, Dion, and Jimmy Haslam. That's a 3. Like, that's a group of 3 right there. That would be wild, man.
Or Kevin Stefanski.
Oh, my gosh, man. Like, it's going to be all over the place. But, I could see Cleveland doing it. If it's not Cleveland, buddy, I don't know who does. Because, I mean, look around the league. Then you're talking about, are you drafted as a backup? And that just changes the conversation completely.
How were we collectively this wrong on his assessment? We were talking first and then second or third and then top 10, might slide into the teens, definitely won't fall out of the first round to where, right now before the second round begins, we're kind of just casting about, wondering where he lands.
Yeah, well, and you know what? Look, it's not just us. I mean, it's NFL teams, right? Like, I think that is what's exciting about the NFL draft is that it's a fluid, living thing, right, that goes pick to pick. I mean, take a look at the Giants last night trading up, to go get Jackson Dart. Number one, not only did they want Jackson Dart, but number 2, they traded up 1 spot ahead of the Rams because the Rams were going to take Jackson Dart. Once the Giants did that, you saw the Rams traded out, right? So it's, something to where I think that, a player of his, let me say, polarization too, right? Of, who he is, who his dad is. I mean, it just makes it so difficult to project of where you're going to go. And now, I mean, it makes it even more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Alan Bell, he joins us every week from Driving the Line to talk some wagering. 3 games tonight in the NBA. It starts 6 o'clock on ESPN with Celtics and Magic. It ends with an 8:30 game on ESPN, Lakers and Timberwolves. Anything you like in any of these 3 games tonight?
Yeah, so, I'm fascinated with all 3 of them, right? So, first off, you look at the Celtics and the Magic. I think you've got a total of 196.5, somewhere around there. Yeah, man. Like, I like the over in that one. Like, I think with Jason Tatum out, you're going to see Boston focus a little bit more on offense instead of just lockdown defense. And for the Magic, kind of the same boat that the Grizzlies were, man. Like, to where it's like, okay, you're down 0-2, you're at home. Like, you'd better go out and give it everything you got in this one, right? And not to bring up a sore subject or anything, but I think that Orlando is facing the same, situation. So in regard to that, from a betting perspective, I think we're going to have points on both sides. But again, take a look at the next game, the Pacers and the Bucks. I think you have a total of 231.5, something like that. That's a lot of points, man. Now these 2 teams can score. Don't get me wrong, but what we've seen in the NBA playoffs, there's been a lot of unders out here. So I like the under in that game, but I like the over the Celtics in that.
Alan, it's a real sore subject. I can assure you. After last night's colossal collapse and really now just what already seemed pretty hopeless is very hopeless, and the news of Ja Morant out. They're in Nashville with the Titans now in the marketplace since the year at Vandy in '98 and into the new stadium and the Super Bowl. They've been there a long time. They're part of the fabric of sports of Nashville and across the state of Tennessee. You've seen teardowns. The Titans are in the middle of one now. I said in our first segment today that I think the Grizzlies need the total teardown. Everybody shall. President of basketball, GM, coach, the three stars. They're not the big three. Everything. But also said it's ugly. Are we really prepared for that? How do you think Titans fans took the various teardowns through the years?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. And it's wild to think because you look at the first big portion of the Titans. I mean, it was Jeff Fisher for a long time. And I don't say that negatively, right? Like you had that kind of consistent, face, kind of like Mike Keith. You know what I mean? Like you just had that consistent face, voice. You just felt comfortable with it, right? I think this is the biggest, kind of rebuild that the Titans have ever had because you don't even have the announcer anymore, right? Like Mike Keith is, headed east towards Knoxville. So, I think that Cam Ward was a comfortable step, so to say, for the Titans because they look around and they're like, well, I can't trust the owner. All right, I don't know how I feel about the GM or the president. I don't know what to think about this coaching staff. Let's get a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like you
been through a lot of GMs of late too.
Oh my goodness, man! And remember the middle period, right? Where you had Amy Adams Strunk now is the current owner, but I mean remember you had other Adams that were in there. It was just madness, man. But I think that getting a quarterback,
at least your owner is in Nashville. Ours doesn't know we exist.
Yeah, there you go, right? Like, not a good thing at all. Yeah, man, it's fascinating with how this team is going to go because they got a lot of pieces that they need, and who knows, where the coaching staff sits if they have a bad year. But at least getting a quarterback as a fan, from what I've heard, from them all day today on the radio, it's at least something that everybody can get behind and support. You know what I mean?
What will be the first sign of Cam Ward? Okay, this is pretty good. Or people going, oh no, it's Jake Locker or it's Will Levis.
Yeah, I'll say this, just a functional, solid game, right? Like the Titans don't even have to win, but you don't have a crazy pick six. You don't have 13 sacks and fumble. Like
news of being late for meetings and disinterest is not out there.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like I think just
eating mayonnaise sandwiches.
Yeah, like I think normalcy, man. Like I think honestly, like there's a very large appetite for just normalcy.
Alan, last thing for you before we let you go. Anything you like in Major League Baseball tonight?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. Major League Baseball we've got a diamond of a game in the Dodgers and the Pirates. I know. You got Paul Skeens on the mound against Yamamoto. Dude, it's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait.
Bet the under 1.5.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll tell you this. Where you're going to find runs tonight, oddly enough, I believe is going to be in the White Sox and the A's game. Like, you got two teams that can get a little wild there, but you're going to have a lot of runs. I'll tell you what.
Alan, the A's are good. I'm playing the flag. The A's are good.
Yes, dude. They're getting there. They got a heck of a lineup,
They sure do.
Yeah. So
is this when I tell Alan who my American League American League Manager of the Year was?
Please.
My pick.
Yes.
Mark Kotsay for the A's.
There we go. Mark Kotsay, man, dude, I love that name in general, man. We all go back to college.
You can win a beer tonight at every bar in Nashville. Just walking up to somebody, hey, I bet you a beer you can't name the manager of the Oakland A's.
You're exactly right, dude. That's great trivia right there.
Sure is. It's a good one. But yeah, no, I think a lot of runs in that one tonight. That should be a fun one to watch. Alan, enjoy this weekend. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next Friday.
Thank you, man.
Look forward to it. Yeah, thank you guys, man. Take care.
Thanks, Alan.
Have a good weekend. Alan Bell with us every Friday. All right, let's have Showboats Bankroll. You ready?
Let's do it. I guess so. I guess as prepared as I'll ever be.
Showboat's on the road tonight. If we got a rivalry, it's against Birmingham, isn't it?
It's a very one-sided rivalry, but I guess if you just want to do proximity, then sure.
Well, I'm bringing in 40-something years ago, too.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Go way back. I was just thinking about this current iteration. No rivalry here.
I'm going back to Raleigh Dotch against Pepper Rogers.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much that impacts this iteration of the show. I think there's two completely different iterations of spring football.
Do you think I made up a name with Raleigh Dotch?
No, I 100. That is the most spring football name I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's got to be a real name.
All right, I'm at 1,000. Bryant's at 500. Landon's at 600. The point spread's 11.5. Bryant.
Give me the Stallions for. Let's go $200. Dresser wins starting tonight for the Showboats.
Yes, he is. Great interview with him the other morning. Did you hear it?
I did.
With Greg
hear
and Eli?
I did hear it.
Really, really refreshing and fun.
I don't really know what to think about it. I mean, this is like the only quarterback on the roster that has NFL experience, being on an NFL roster. But
former Briarcrest pitcher.
Really? I didn't know that.
In 10th grade, he said.
I had no idea. That is news to me. Well, maybe I should have changed my pick to back him, but I'm not going to. I'll take the Stallions for 200.
Landon?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Stallions as well, but I don't feel confident about it. I think I'm going to do my bet from last week, 150.
150. I'm going to go 100 group lock against the Showboats.
That's too bad. That's really too bad.
That's unfortunate.
Well,
Showboats back home next week. We'll have Steve Macy back with us next week.
Yes, we will. We'll talk a lot more Showboats then, and you can listen to Eli on the call tonight doing that Showboats game with Russell Copeland. Let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk more Grizzlies. We'll talk about that collapse last night against the Thunder. That's next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Kubota Orange Days are here, so come see them Saturday, April 26th for food, fun, and a lot of Kubota Orange. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and personal RTVs, get your perfect match. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months on select compact tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com. Kubota Orange Days, Saturday, April 26th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. with Sports 56 and Fat Larry's Barbecue from 11 to 1 at First Choice Farm and Lawn, 701 Highway 64 in Keys.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring, tile, foundation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and will flourish your business.
It's the Freedom of Choice pricing program, Ram Truck Month and Jeep Celebration all in one at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2025 Compass Latitude 4x4, $49.69 off MSRP at $24,796 with Jeep Select Terrain System. Go from snow, sand, and mud. 2024 Dodge Hornet RT all-wheel drive, $12,673 off, or $397 a month with a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine standard. One of the most powerful SUVs in its class, or 0% for 72 months is available. 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab with best-in-class hangover capacity, now $13,335 off MSRP, or 1.9 for 72 is available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 29,765, Hornet R3 A08 452, MSRP 44620, Ram SN 673 402, MSRP 517, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax, title, license, CD for complete details, offer valid to end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Tiger Nation, spring football is here. Get your first look at Memphis football at the annual spring game Saturday, April 26th. Kickoff is set for 3 o'clock at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Admission and parking is free. It's Family Fun Day featuring Pouncers Pals, food trucks, prizes, and autographs. Tiger Bookstore will be there with a Memphis Athletics equipment sale. Be there, be loud, and go Tigers go. For more information, visit GoTigersGo.com. Now, back to Sports Time. Sports This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here are your hosts, Star Sports Movie, Brian Davis.
Well, everything was good last night until it wasn't. Grizzlies rolling against OKC. The arena was loud, the fans were into it, and the Grizzlies were in complete control. And then Ja Morant takes a scary fall. He exits the game, and with that exit, left the Grizzlies intensity, hope, any type of ability to play basketball at times. And OKC, they could smell blood in the water and pounced on the Grizzlies with their tenacious defense, with their shot making, and able to come back and win that game, trailing by 29 at one point in the second quarter, trailing by 26 at half, and they end up winning that game last night.
And for the first time in this series, the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, looked like the MVP that he's going to be. Chet Holmgren with a great game.
No, Chet was awesome.
One of the two Williams with a good game. And we talked about Caruso, Isaiah Joe, how deep they are, how good they are, and you can't count anything until you have them completely knocked out. The game last night, it's easy to blame the bench. It's easy to blame the injury, not blame Ja Morant. He couldn't help being hurt. No more than he can help being 6 foot and 107.
Right.
This is on the other two of the big three. This is on Jaren Jackson. His 22 was as benign a 22 as you can have, and then Desmond Bain's 10 was just a pitiful 10.
Yeah, I mean, if you did not watch that game last night and you're just looking at the stat sheet and you see, oh man, Jaren 22 points, 7 rebounds, holy cow, 7 rebounds, you'd go, oh man, Jaren played well last night. But if you watch the game, he didn't. And
bad fouls, bad positioning.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad all
shot
night.
Selection.
Again, Alex Caruso, half of Jaren's size and height, is guarding him down low in the post and is getting takeaways, is causing turnovers, is blocking shots, altering shots. That can't happen if you're Jaren's size. And so, I mean, this comes down to if you do truly have a big three, if one of the big three leaves the game, the other two should be able to still keep a 29-point lead and still win that game. 27 is what it was when he went down with the injury. They should still be able to win that game.
Player combination, strategy, very questionable. Brian, there's no way in 2-3 weeks they roll out permanent head coach Tomas Islo, is it?
I'm not gonna put anything out of question at this point. If the same front office is still in place, I say there's still a chance Tomas Islo is your next head coach.
Well, then there's nothing but playoff success this time next year that can save anyone. That could get people that sure don't deserve it.
Right.
That could get the guy in charge of dropping the streamers.
That's right. But just the way that everything has gone
Streamer
about.
guy doesn't need to be in jeopardy, does he?
I think if one person is a lock at keeping their job no matter what, it's got to be the streamer guy. I mean,
you run out Tomas Isolo, no changes with Wexler climbing, and you don't win a playoff series next year, then Super Grizz is in trouble.
That's right. Well, and the reason I say that is because everything that went into hiring him as an assistant and then throwing your current head coach overboard to put him as the interim head coach, it makes me think that if they're still there, then he definitely has a shot. I mean, Tomas Isolo had an opportunity to be a head coach before he became an assistant with the Grizzlies. The Wizards were trying to get him as their head coach.
Well, they have him.
They can. But, the Grizzlies put out a bigger offer and had that kind of plan in place for him, and then they throw their guy out. So I can definitely see a world where in a couple weeks, if the same front office is intact, if we have the same general manager, same everything, that they run him out, and when the questions are asked, what did he prove?
President of basketball operations, do not omit Jason Wexler.
I'm not trying to, but
okay.
I'm
sorry, I wouldn't raise my voice at you either.
When I was saying
but everybody
office,
seems to.
That includes everybody. Anybody that has decision-making power at all, you are included here. If those same people, I can see a world where they roll out Tomas Isolo as the head coach, and when the question is asked, what did he prove in that time when he was the interim for him to be the next head coach, they say, well, he didn't have enough time. He was the interim. We throw him in a bad spot when he has the whole offseason, when he has this. Just wait till what he does. I can definitely see that being a real world that we live in.
He can't be fired because he's a sports writer now. Why he was ever hired, I'll never know. But guess who was there last night? His fingerprints all over this disaster, too. He ought to write how bad he was here.
I'm going to guess you are describing John Hollinger.
You got it.
Yep.
And if looks would kill, I would be incarcerated at Brushy Mountain State Prison as we speak.
Well, yeah. I mean,
what a joke.
Yeah, I guess sports writing, being in a power position in a front office, basically the same thing, right?
But he came up with purr.
That's
right. That makes him smart,
right?
right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it was not a lot of good last night. I mean, it was
he set as many screens in his life as I have.
That's right. Yeah.
And he had his hands on the levers of power of an NBA team.
Sure did.
And was an in-house weasel to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely was. So it was not a fun night downtown. Fun for the first 20 minutes or so, but then after that, it was all downhill from there in the second half. So now Game 4 tomorrow afternoon, a game where John Morant will not be playing. He was ruled out earlier today, Shams Charania, with that report right before we started this show. We'll talk more about the Grizzlies later to start our third hour. Gary Darby will join us. We'll talk a lot of Grizzlies with him. But let's go ahead and get to another break. And when we return, we're talking more wagering with Bruce Marshall.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable. Wall-to-wall TVs, 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music burned up Tuesdays, daily special and Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily special and weekend music at the Owner's Box. 650 acquisition fee, 20,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 12,000 miles per year, $49.99 due at signing. Must finance through KFA, pay for SEO 873.49, MSRP 25,320, storage S719 2005, MSRP 30,660, Telluride SG 596,204, MSRP 41,060, includes all rebates and incentives, fee of $895, excludes tax title license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 5/2/25. Hey, I got my buddy on the line. Hey, Jeff Allen, it's always awesome to see what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. What you got up your sleeve?
I'm making magic, Randy. I've got a new ride under $6 a day. 2025 Kia K4 LXS, $159 a month. 2025 Kia Sportage EX, $269 per month. And get more power, larger cargo area than a Nissan Pathfinder in a 2025 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive, $398 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
We're online at KiaMountMoriah.com.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home and office. Protect babies, pets, new homes, old homes, employees, friends, loved ones, and you. Just call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 for the Memphis Mold Inspector.
Showboats fans, the boats are back in action at Simmons Liberty Stadium on Sunday, May 11th, as they face the St. Louis Battlehawks with kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m. Come see all the football action of the UFL and join us as we celebrate our mascot Skipper's birthday. Treat Mom to a Mother's Day she'll never forget with more fun, more excitement, and more Showboats football. Get your tickets today at UFLShowboats.com. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a Mother Pheasant Plucker, I plug Mother Pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Fiveash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We have seen a few showers north of Memphis up through parts of Tipton County. Traffic's building out here already through the Midtown area. 240 southbound at South Parkway. Still moving on 240 east from Mill Branch out to 385 Billmores Parkway. It won't be long before that starts to get a little bit heavier. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Go see them this weekend and save a lot of money by shopping local. It pays off at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders. CBS Sports, Vegas on website, VegasSports.com, for the 30 years on Memphis Radio. Sports Time, here's Bruce Marshall with Brian and Brett.
Bruce Marshall joins us every Friday to talk wagering and really everything under the sun when it comes to sports. Bruce, plenty to get to this afternoon, but let's start with the NFL draft. Round 1 last night, rounds 2 and 3 here in a couple of hours. What jumped out to you after the completion of round 1 last night?
Yeah, Brian. Lack of trades until right at the end of the first round. We got a couple. But we had that blockbuster with the Jags and the Browns, but I mean nothing else until right toward the end of the round, when the Giants flipped around to get with the Rams to get position to take Jackson Dart, and then right at the end of the round, really at the end of the round, the Chiefs and Eagles flipped their picks. So we didn't get a lot of that. Who did the best? I mean, it's hard to say because it's just one piece of the puzzle. I mean, some of the teams you think, man, they should have done something else. Well, you got today and then tomorrow, but a couple more rounds today and you can fill in some of those gaps. The puzzle is not complete yet. Having said that, a couple things that really jumped out at me. Obviously, the Travis Hunter move, that was big. That was a domino effect there because had Cleveland stayed put and took him and Jacksonville stayed at 5, I'm thinking, from what I was hearing, if that was the case, Jacksonville would have taken Ashton Jenney. Instead, Jenny falls to 6. The Browns fell back to 5. They didn't take Jenny, fell to 6. And the Raiders. Jenny is my pick to be the Rookie of the Year next year. So a great pick for the Raiders. He's the next thing closest to Saquon. How Tyler Warren fell beneath Colston Loveland in the first round for tight ends, I can't quite believe. And I think this is just another case of over-analysis, and the Bears figure to do stuff like this, and that's the pick they made. I watched these guys last year. Now, Loveland didn't have much of a quarterback last year. I cannot imagine a tight end being better than Warren, and I'm including, maybe Brock Bowers, maybe Gronk in the last 20 years. That's how good that guy was. I think he could have made a case for the Heisman. What a steal for Indy to get him at 14. Great deal. The other thing, the mystery of Shedeur, every mock that I saw had him going in the first round, some as high as the 3rd pick, some as high as the 2nd pick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mel Kiper, he was like the number 5 prospect on his list. He drops all the way out of the first round. All these teams that had a shot at him that were rumored to be interested, whether it be Cleveland, whether it be the Giants, whether it be the Saints, whether it be Pittsburgh, they all bypassed him. And the Giants ended up opting for Jackson Dart late in the first round. Pittsburgh's doesn't come around again in the 3rd round, so obviously something's up there. Now, Shedeur could go off the board quick. Cleveland could still get him at the top of round 2, I guess. And we'll see what the Saints do as well. But that was kind of a shocker. One other thing, speaking about Pittsburgh, something tells me something must be imminent with Aaron Rodgers for them not to look at Shedeur or Jackson Dart or whoever in the first round. Not that a rookie quarterback would be the answer there, but their quarterback room right now is really thin, unless they're intending to start Mason Rudolph. So I've got to think something is imminent there with them and Rodgers. But we'll write the final chapters of this after the draft is complete, and we got rounds 2 and 3 coming up in a couple hours.
Bruce, don't you think the Steelers are still very much burned, scarred by Kenny Pickett?
Yes, that's my next point. That's the risk of, and this, the Titans might be saying the same thing about Cam Ward in a couple of years, we'll see. Mm-hmm. But Pickett flamed out so spectacularly. He had, 2 years there done. He's now been on 2 teams since there, and he's going, this will be his 4th year coming up.
Super Bowl champ, though, and threw a pass in the Super Bowl.
Did.
Well, yeah, but
what's that get you? Hang that banner.
He's gone.
Oh, man.
He's gone from Philadelphia now. I'm not even sure where he landed, but that's the risk of a quarterback in the first round not working out. And Pittsburgh's not the only team that's felt that, but they sure did, and that's part of the reason they're in this predicament they're in right now. And unless they have something cooking for Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not 100% sure that's the case, I'm just thinking it probably is, good luck going in. I don't think Mason Rudolph's not that bad, but, that can't be your first option going into the season. We'll see.
Bruce, what draft room, war room, organizational room do you think that you would like to be in, and you think they've really gotten it down, that they're just ahead of everyone else?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the Eagles maybe.
Last night they got a good player.
I agree. Jed Campbell I had him going in the middle of the first round, and he's still sitting there at 31. I think he'll be just fine with the Eagles. And this is more also what Howie Roseman has done, even outside of the draft. He's been really shrewd in the free agent market too, and putting that thing together. He's also the one who drafted Jalen Hurts a couple of years ago. Nobody's talking much about that, but everybody had a shot at him. He's been in 2 Super Bowls and won 1 in the last 3 seasons. So that's not too bad a find beyond the first round. So I would say probably the Eagles, although I would want to be around some of these teams that I'm wondering about, like the Bears. I can't believe that they wouldn't take Tyler Warren if they were looking for a tight end there. It's just beyond me, and maybe Loveland's going to be good, but I'd like to see what they were actually thinking. I think 31 of the other 32 teams would have taken Warren there, and especially if they're looking for a tight end. And Indianapolis got a great pick at 14. He's the other guy besides Genty who I think could be in the running for Rookie of the Year. Right now, I think it's those two. I'd put those two over Cam Ward even, because I think Ward is going to struggle. There's Travis Hunter too, but Warren was a great pick, and the Bears missed out, I think.
Yeah, well, look who's running the Bears. Kevin Warren runs the Bears and almost did in college football. I don't want to be in their draft room or even around him. I'm afraid just walking by would drop my IQ down around my age.
Well, it might. It might. But I think it'd be kind of fun to be in a room that I think the guys are kind of clueless and see what's going on. And I think the Bears
I can go to my
might
local
fit that.
fantasy football league and watch that.
Yes, absolutely. There you go.
That's right. So where do you think Shedeur might land tonight?
I don't know. I mean, I thought he was going to go last night. I mean, I mean, Cleveland's picking right early. They could still get him. I do think Dion.
Who's going to break the news to Mel Kiper and Reese Davis if he doesn't go in the second round? Because I was told that's all they could talk about last night. Not the players being selected, but they had to talk about the one not selected. I was at the Grizzlies game and didn't see it.
Yes, that's what the deal was. I would think if there is a silver lining for Shedeur and Dion especially, I think Dion was probably praying that Shedeur didn't get taken by the Giants. Now, I hope this works out for Jackson Dart, but you got a coach and a GM who came in there together a few years ago from Buffalo, Joe Shen and Dable, who are on the hot seat this year. And you got a very short-term quarterback room in there with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. That's a one-year deal. I mean, this whole thing could get blown up with the Giants after this year. I don't think that's a great place for a rookie to go in unless, especially since the regime might change after this year. Good luck to Jackson Dart, but I think Dion is really happy Shedeur didn't go there. But we'll see. He could go. I mean, the Browns and Saints are going to come around again early in the second round. Here's their chance if they want to pick him up. But like I said, the Giants are out of that mix now because they picked Dart, and the Steelers, I dare say, are out of it too. They don't pick again until, 83? They got to wait to the third round for their next pick.
Bruce Marshall, our guest, he's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. He's with us every single Friday talking everything we talk. Bruce, there are some comparisons, some parallels, but there's also a lot of difference between Eli Manning. He was not taken number one overall by the Giants. It was by the Chargers, but it was done with the expressed desire of being traded to New York, and that happened. So Jackson Dart's not the number one overall, but in Eli's case, he came in. They had Kurt Warner, very, very capable, Super Bowl winning veteran quarterback. I don't think Eli started his first game until game 10 or 11. That might be the same path they take with a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Russell Wilson, in front of him. Kurt Warner did not like being dislodged. He thought, and he did have a lot left in him, and he showed it with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know that Russell Wilson has that much left in him. So when do you think Jackson Dart gets thrown in there and they tell him, Rook, go get him?
It's a good question. Here's the issue. With a coach and a GM on the hot seat, and they are in New York, if it's going bad, I think they might be willing to wait longer to see if Jameis Winston gets the call second if Russell Wilson's not doing it. It looks like Wilson's number one, Jameis is two, and this is really a learning year for Jackson Dart. So I think it wouldn't be till really late. And maybe if there's an in-season change, and that's not impossible, the Giants might go there. Now, maybe Dable pulls something out of his hat, and he and Shen survive into 2026. But I'm not sure Dart gets in there at all this year because I think they'd go to Winston if things are going bad with Russell. And Dart, if he got in there, probably not till December, and it would have to really have gone pear-shaped before the Giants go to that
Abdul
direction.
Carter better be good. And I want to say this about Abdul Carter, and I want to preface it with, I only saw him play in person one time in college. Bruce, I don't remember him on the field in the Peach Bowl against Ole Miss. I bet you Penn State remember Jackson Dart on the field that day.
Well, they do, and I saw him last year against USC, and it didn't. The guy who jumped out for me in that game was Warren on the other side of the ball. So we'll see. Now Carter, though, if they liked him that much, that is the sort of pick. A team, a sound thinking team would make, because a lot of people like Dart. I'm sorry, I liked him at the 3 pick after the 3rd pick. What I don't like the Giants did, that was a lot of future capital they traded away at 26 just to take Dart. I mean, that was a short-term move there. They gave up second-day picks for the next couple of years. That's a pretty steep price to move up to 26, and they thought Dart probably was going to last the rest of the round. So that's the other angle, the other shoe to drop on that Giants move. They gave up a lot of future draft capital to move up to 26. We'll see how that works.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Bruce Marshall, he joins us every single week to talk wagering from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. It has not been a fun day here in Memphis today after what happened last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. A true sky is falling day, it feels like, talking about the Grizzlies. Give us a outsider's view of the state of this Grizzlies franchise right now.
Very much in flux, and who knows? I mean, they're going to get swept out of this series. That was their chance last night. They couldn't hold on to a 29-point lead and just completely fell apart there in the second half. I don't hold out much hope for them even extending it beyond game 4. Ja hurting again. That's not good. Have we seen the last of Ja in Memphis? I think it is very much a franchise in flux. I don't think they have a direction they want to go playing-wise because their whole analytics approach, it cost Taylor Jenkins his job this year, and this looks just like a rudderless ship. So enjoy this playoff game while you have one more, because I would have to think the Grizzlies may not even make it next year. We'll see.
A very wise man, the greatest coach in the history of college football, Coach Nick Saban, once was quoted as saying, analytics work great until they don't.
Yeah. Well, I think you're seeing that also in the NBA playoffs, which are a little bit of a repudiation of analytics.
Look at all those unders, betting lines.
13-6 to the unders. Teams are challenging the 3-point line, so they're guarding the perimeter a lot more, and that's the difference between here and the regular season. And all these teams like the Wizards and the Jazz and the Hornets and the Pelicans that just didn't bother to play defense or guard the perimeter, and their games is just 3-point shooting contests. You're not seeing that so much in the playoffs. The games are ref differently, they're played differently, and you can see, I think it's kind of refreshing, the Clippers mid-range game, and that's down to Kawhi Leonard. That's sort of back now, at least watching the Clippers play. So you're right, the analytics guys are taking a beating, as it often seems to be the case in the postseason in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you look at the 3 games tonight, what jumps out to you? What do you like from a betting standpoint tonight?
The unders again. I think this Laker-Minnesota game, well, that total's moved up a little bit, but the Lakers have not gotten over 100 points in either of the first 2 games. Now, it's a lower total than they've been playing in the playoffs in the regular season, but these teams have played 6 times already this season, included the 2 playoff games, Bryant, and under in all 6.
Wow.
So the fact neither of these teams shot better than 20% from 3-point land in game 2, and the Timberwolves' length and athleticism really seems to be bothering the Lakers, especially LeBron. Luka's the only guy performing to full capacity for the Lakers. They are really struggling to score. So rock fight there. I think that one probably goes under in that one. It's probably too big a line for Indiana against Milwaukee. I mean, you're getting 5.5. This is not the same Milwaukee team as last year. They don't have Malik Beasley. They don't have Chris Middleton. Dame just came back. He looked very rusty in game 2. I think Milwaukee's in big trouble. The other one, Orlando has at least made it very uncomfortable for Boston. Now, they haven't won yet, but I think they're going to get one of these next 2 at home. And Jason Tatum probably not going tonight. Just pointing this out, they lost both games at Orlando during the regular season. Now, the last one was in early April, and the Celtics rested all their starters. But earlier in the season, they went in there without Tatum, and Jaylen Brown scored 36, and he scored 35 the other night without Tatum, and they lost. Orlando might not just one of these 2 games. I think Orlando gets at home. It might beat tonight.
Yeah.
Bruce, in Major League Baseball, can the Colorado Rockies do the unthinkable and break the White Sox record from last year that eclipsed the Mets as the all-time most futile team? Rockies 4-20 and going nowhere at home this weekend. They get swept. That's got to be close to it for Bud Black, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I would think so. I mean, if they played every game on the road, they've lost 13 straight. I mean, they won't even. They're back to what the Cleveland Spiders.
The Coors Field effect, huh?
Yeah, I mean, they're back to there. I mean, last year that's 120. Now, just to point out, 41 and 121. That is the loss record last year, modern loss record. The White Sox. It is not the worst record. 40 and 120. The Mets and 62. Right. Percentage-wise, it's a little worse. So you can. I still like to refer to the 62 Mets. So I will continue to refer to that as the bottom standard bearer. Although 62 is a very tough year in the National League, the 62 Mets were a lot better than the White Sox last year.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Your
question, Colorado is bad. I don't know how it's going to come around. They can't win on the road, and this is a young team, and either they have missed on the evaluations of a lot of these guys, or something is wrong in the in the structure of the organization, the coaching. They've already fired Bam Bam Euland's their hitting coach. You're wondering if Bud Black is coming soon, but 4-20. I mean, you don't need to say much more than that.
Yeah, I still use 62 Mets as well. Had Casey Stengel as manager, had a Hall of Fame center fielder. He was at the end, but Richie Ashburn's still decent. And any team that had Jimmy Pearsall on it and he circled the bases backwards for his 100th home run, I got to give him the designation.
I think so too. But back to 62 real quick. I don't think the National League was ever stronger than it was in 1962. It's a bad year to come in as an expansion team for the Mets and the Astros, or the Colt 45s, actually.
Yeah, look at the pitching you saw just every week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And most all those other National League teams were a couple of years away from either being in the World Series, like the Braves had been, or almost in the World Series, like the Phillies.
Even the
were
Reds
2 years later. I mean, it was a great year in the National League. It's a tough year to be an expansion team.
Yeah, absolutely. Is anything you like tonight in Major League Baseball?
I like the Tigers. I think they should be a much bigger favorite. The Orioles still seem to be getting overvalued here, even though they've been offering very little value. The starting rotation's been bad. Brandon Young gets his second start. He was really pounded by the Reds in his debut last week. They did salvage one against Washington, but this pitching staff has been really a disaster. And Casey Mize, 3 of his 4 starts have been superb. Short price there for Detroit. You could do it on the run line. I think that's pretty good. So I could see that one. I might actually talk about the White Sox. They're in Sacramento tonight. The A's are starting to win at home. And the A's steamrollered the White Sox 23-4 combined score and sweeping a series last week at the rate. They hit Sean Burke really hard in that series. They get him again tonight. I actually might do that on the run line at a minus price. Never do that with the A's, but I'll do it tonight. One other note, the Angels tonight are playing in Minnesota. They had to fly all night. They moved the starting time as late as they possibly could last night, which was 6:29 p.m. local time. That's based on the CBA, and because it's an overnight flight, the game had to be over. You know, there's a 7 p.m. They moved it back 31 minutes because it's 3 hours and 1 minute flight to Minnesota, and they did that because they thought Paul Skeens was going to pitch, and he didn't. And now the Angels had to fly all night to Minnesota. Pablo Lopez gets reactivated. I think the Twins, who I don't like much either, but I do it on the run line with them tonight.
I love it. Bruce, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, thanks. So check me out online at the old standbys, VegasInsider.com, CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com. Also the new places, that would be winnersandwhiners.com, picksandparlays.com. Baseball, NBA playoffs are going so hot. And NHL, we won last night too. Check us out. We got the picks ready.
Bruce, enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again next Friday.
Okay, boys. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce. Good luck. Thank you very much. Bruce Marshall with us every week from Vegas Insider. My Maple Leafs,
That's right.
up 3-0.
That's right. They're rolling right now. Good time to be a Leaf, I guess.
Have been all my life.
Oh, your entire life.
Since
just like you've been a Giants fan your entire life.
The highs of 67,
That's
the last
right.
time they won the
That's
Stanley
right.
Cup, to all the drought years.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of drought
You
years.
got
I do. I'm rocking my Austin Matthews sweater today.
You got your Leafs sweater on
in honor
today.
of their win. So, yeah. So we're all Leafs fans here.
It's going to be a beautiful weekend and open all day tomorrow. All-Star Chevrolet, first exit into Mississippi. If you're on Highway 78, take the first exit, Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there where all the deals are, where all the Chevys are, right there at Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Drew DePriest and his great team, they're ready to see you. Still have time today, but for sure all day tomorrow you can save thousands on your new Silverado truck with financing as low as 2.9 for 72 months, a new 2500 HD with financing as low as 3.9, no payments for 90 days. That's right up to the start of college football season that you don't have any payments. Your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star. And if you're law enforcement or educator, recent grad, going to be a lot of those coming in the next 3-4 weeks. Military, healthcare worker, first responder, instant extra $500 bonus back on any deal you make. All-Star with all the late model pre-owns you can imagine, the Equinox, Tahoes, the Camaros, Suburbans, and a ton of Silverados. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star, whether you bought it there or not, and you'll get the most money back for your vehicle. Everyone at All-Star wishes everybody in our listening audience a happy Easter month, happy springtime, and head to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Together, let's drive down Highway 78 to All-Star. And for more information, you can always go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we're a little more than an hour and a half away from round 2 getting started of the NFL draft. But last night in round 1, it was a lot of fun. There were a couple surprises throughout the night. So let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll recap round 1 and what stood out to us. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
This is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Building out of Midtown in the last few minutes, 240 southbound at South Parkway. MPD working with a couple of wrecks. Still see some stray showers moving through parts of Tipton County north of Memphis. And that slowdown still exists out there in Fayette County. Extra time, 40 east around the 28-mile marker. Again, that's 40 going east around Highway 196. It's just been crawling. Dandelions, crabgrass. Lawn Solutions says not a problem. They get rid of it for you and make your yard look so good your neighbors will be jealous. That's Lawn Solutions, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got to talk about the draft. Round 1 last night. It was a lot of fun. We'll get rounds 2 and 3 later tonight, and then the rest of the draft tomorrow afternoon. Brett, was there a draft pick that jumped out to you? Your favorite pick of the night?
Yeah, I had a couple.
Okay.
I loved, and I don't know who said it, but when you pick wide receivers, quarterbacks, that gets a lot more buzz.
Sure.
I love the 4 pick, Will Campbell, the big offensive lineman from LSU going to New England, and they got the young quarterback, got to protect him. Everything is built around the quarterback. And I think Mike Vrabel, I thought he was pretty good in his first tour of duty as a head coach.
Absolutely.
I think he'll even be better in this second one, and he wants to go big. We were talking yesterday with Mike Detillier, and he said the Saints were going to go big.
Did.
They did. Cowboys went big. I love the Cowboys.
My favorite pick of the night.
I think I love Walter Nolan going at 16, and Brian, it reminded me going into last year what I said about you could get out the NFL draft spring of 2025 if you didn't watch a play of Ole Miss and know exactly how Ole Miss kind of finished. If he's in the top 10, they were at or near the Final Four.
Yep.
If he's 11 to 20, they were just outside it. Well, that's where he ended up at 16. If he's in the 20s, they might have had the 8, 4, 7, and 5 year. He had a great year. Always doubled. Always could fight off the double team. And remember specifically having my binoculars on a Will Campbell Walter Nolan battle a lot of the night last year at Tiger Stadium on one of the epic electric nights ever.
Yeah.
That went into overtime. Great game that night. I like the tight ends. I like the Penn State tight end more.
Oh yeah. That was one of the surprises of the night because everyone thought he was going to be the first tight end taken off the board. He ends up being the second tight end taken off the board.
I like the Heisman Trophy winner with the deal the Jags made.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, they saw their guy, they traded up and went and got him. I think you gotta be excited about that. We talked about it, yesterday of whoever gets Travis Hunter, that's a guy that the fan base is immediately going to be excited about. And I think Jacksonville, who has had excitement around their organization, but it feels like the last year, 2 years, that excitement excitement is starting to waver a little bit, you go out and get a guy like that, and it gets everybody right back in.
It's time for Greek God Lawrence to do something. But he needs some help. I'm still waiting for that substantive Cowboy trade.
Yeah, me too.
That Jerry Jones promised us.
Me too. We talked about it earlier this week about what the Cowboys would do on draft night. I remember talking about it with on Tuesday with Bo, and Bo kind of saying that running backs and wide receivers, that's where everyone's mocking for the Cowboys, and that's fun and all, but they might just do what they do every year and draft an offensive lineman. It feels like that's what they do most years, and I was saying that would not surprise me at all. And so last night when they go out and draft Tyler Booker, I was like, okay, a lineman, he's a good lineman, but then to see his reaction after getting drafted, and he's running down the hallway, he's slapping the Cowboys logo and going, I'm a Cowboy.
Oh, that entryway was great.
It was great. But then this part, so I was already excited. His reaction, was made me like him a lot. But then this quote that I saw afterwards, maybe my favorite draft pick ever for the Dallas Cowboys. He joined the Bleacher Report draft show after he was selected, his new teammate Micah Parsons on that draft show all night. And he was asked that during the draft process, he had a quote where he said, quote, "I make guys not love football anymore." And so the question was, what does it feel like to see the love of football leave someone's eyes? Great question. His answer, quote, "It feels great. Football is a child's game. People wake up and are like, I can't wait to play this football game today. They listen to their pregame hype music. They take all their pre-workout. They get so excited to play football until they come across Tyler Booker. And then when I'm going after you quarter after quarter, play after play, series after series, and I start to see that love leave their eyes, that's what makes me love the game." That might be the greatest quote I have ever heard in my life. I mean, I was ready to run through a brick wall last night.
That screams the Bama building.
Oh, man. I mean, that's
certainly under Coach Nick Saban.
That screams Nick Saban. That is the first thing I thought about, is that was head coach down in that program.
He made them all robots, didn't he?
He sure did. And so, yeah, I love that pick. A lot of the offensive line pick, the offensive lineman from North Dakota State that got picked by the Seahawks, that seems like a really good pick for them, trying to really kind of start over with that offense, making a lot of trades, releasing some guys from that offense, kind of restarting and getting some help on the offensive line, I think is big for them as well.
I'm sorry, I can't remember where I read this, but it was a great story on, again, anonymous. I'm not wild about that, but anonymous GMs, anonymous coaches, anonymous NFL types saying that they've never encountered as much this year in interviews of players that are kind of satisfied. They've made a little money from NIL, maybe a lot of money, and they don't feel the hunger that maybe from yesteryear. And I think that's human nature.
Sure.
You can get a little satisfied with just a little. Are you that cyborg that no? I want it all.
Yeah.
There's never going to be enough to satisfy me, and I think a lot of people are already kind of the Tyler Booker. They're already done with football before they ever get their pro career started. They're not hungry enough.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And now that we're seeing just the millions upon millions of dollars that you're now able to throw at these athletes, and specifically football, we know that's what drives the boat in college athletics, and so they're going to get the more money in terms of what they can make in NIL. And so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of kind of weeding through these guys. Who's happy making that couple $1 million at Michigan and that be it, or who is really ready to go and work, because it's going to be completely night and day. I forgot which guy they were talking about last night, but at one point on the draft they were talking about a pickup, and they were saying that it might have been talking about Shedeur Sanders and how he wasn't drafted, and saying that it's going to be completely different when you walk into an NFL locker room, and that's for all these guys. It's going to be completely night and day different from college, and if you're fine and satisfied with your NIL money, you're not going to be ready when you walk into that NFL locker room.
Landon, what do you think the Titans want with the third pick of the second round, the 35th pick overall? What do you think they have in their sights.
Wrong ones. I would very much like for them to go for Luther Burden. He's still on the table. He's a great receiver.
So you think receiver?
I think so because
can't go wrong with that.
But you got two of the top 4 receivers in the NFL on your roster right now, though.
Well,
that's what your quarterback said.
But we know that's really not true.
Well,
yeah, it isn't.
But would you be dissatisfied if it was Trey Harris from Ole Miss?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be because I've seen what the Titans are doing this entire offseason. I mean, we set the stage for Cam Ward to be successful in his first year. We signed a bunch of deals for offensive linemen. This is the best the offensive line for the Tennessee Titans have looked in a really long time. I also forgot that we had signed Van Jefferson in the offseason as well. Brought him in, so we have
Not
Calvin.
very physical.
No, he's not.
Pretty
but
good route runner. But he's wide open. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's kind of the same as Tyler Lockett. He's going to be a solid option, but he's not going to go into contact. I mean, you've seen his highlight reel. He catches the ball and he falls down. But I mean, you see the highlight reels from Luther Burden. He's the dude who's not afraid to get a little bit physical. So I think if we're able to capture him alongside Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett, I think you got a really solid offensive scheme going into this year.
Yeah, and Brian, I meant to bring this up with Bruce Marshall because it would be a perfect subject for him. And this is for a long time college football fans in this area, Tennessee and Ole Miss particularly. And I wanted to briefly, before we get to the break, talk about the passing of Steve Kiner, the very, very, very famous and great linebacker at Tennessee. Went to the Cowboys, was a good Cowboy player, real good in special teams. Probably not the pro career everybody thought he would have, certainly coming out of Tennessee, but he was famous in 1969 around a regular season game. And this was real smack talk for that era, Bryant. That he was asked about Archie Manning, and he famously said, "Who's he? Archie who?" And then that's where it started with all the buttons and all the Archie Who campaign. And they asked him about the horses of the Ole Miss players being described as horses, and he said they reminded him more of mules. So it was the mule game, and he hauled Kiner, and he took a shot at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss thumped them 38-0 in a game that I have right there.
Oh, wow.
in a mural. That day, I don't remember this game on TV, and I was only 7, fall of 1969, so I don't remember it on TV. But both teams, Ole Miss wore their blue jerseys, and Tennessee wore their orange jerseys when the country had about 5% of the country with color TVs.
Wow! All right.
Now we have them, and we can't do that anymore. I wish we would.
Oh yeah, I wish they would as well.
But Steve Kiner, a very nice man. He and Archie Manning became big friends, as everybody becomes with Archie Manning. And I'm told from the Tennessee side that the same nice man that Steve Kiner was. And on the 40th, it was the 40th season. It wasn't that actual day and date. That game between Ole Miss and Tennessee was more earlier in the year. But 40 years later, in 2009, Tennessee came to Oxford, and that was the day Dexter McCluster went for 282 against Tennessee. And post-game, I got to meet Steve Kiner tailgating with a lot of Archie and his friends.
Wow, that's really cool. It's a good story, but yeah, somebody wasn't thinking when we wore orange and blue and had it on color or non-colored television.
They kind of did that a lot. Now, on black and white, it was a little confusing.
That's right, but back then it was a lot more
color. It really popped.
Sure. But that was back when we were doing stuff for the people in attendance, not the people watching on television. Now it's all flip-flop.
Right. Talking about catering to the people in attendance. Back then, a lot. I wonder where the demarcation was. I'll ask people in the TV business if they know. Back then, TV called and said, "Hey, we would like to cover your game." Yeah. They go, "Okay, great. It's at 12:30 Saturday."
Yeah.
If it's they adjusted to you.
That's right. Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy where we're at now, where it's all television telling you when and where you're going to play.
We could have a kickoff time at 4:17 a.m. if the network said
Exactly. Whatever the network says goes. That's a really good story. And speaking of Tennessee, last thing before we get to a break, that was kind of the big trade of the night was the Falcons and the Rams trade late in the second round, so that the Falcons could go get late in the first round, so they could go get James Pierce Jr.
Remember when we talked about him maybe being number one?
We definitely did.
I know last summer Rob Fisher and I did an event, and course, I missed on a lot of things. I said Tigers undefeated. I said Ole Miss in the playoffs. I didn't miss bad on both of those. No. I missed bad on this one. I said Pierce would be the number 1 pick overall.
Yeah, but Falcons gave up a ton to go get him. The Rams received the 2025 second-round pick, 2026 first-round pick, and 2025 seventh-round pick. Falcons received the 2025 first-round and a 2025 third-round. But giving up a 2026 first-round pick for the number 26 pick in the first round. Very clearly, the Falcons loved James Pierce Jr., did not want him to fall out of their grasp, and so now he'll be in Atlanta Falcon. Well, let's go ahead and get to another break. But before we do that, let me remind you that this weekend a perfect time to head out to Frontier Western Store, and you can walk into this new season in style. Family owned and operated since 1967. Frontier Western Store is your one-stop shop for the biggest brands. Check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dan Post, and Durango. Frontier Western Store is your one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South, and they also have you covered with thousands of new shirts and jeans. Need a new pair of jeans? Well, Frontier has you covered with the newest selection from Wrangler and Ariat. And you'll love how easy it is to find the perfect style and size for you. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain store, so you know you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch and check out the whole selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Head down there, check out Frontier Western Store. Let's get to that break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom-made solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat of your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for your loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's on Highway 64 in Marlin, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Playoff basketball is on fire, and so is your shot at winning 98.50 with Real Sports Talk 56, powered by Club Car Wash. They're your MVP for a next-level clean, with 3 locations in the Memphis area, Gidwell Road, Hickory Hill, and Bartlett, and a brand-new location coming soon to Horn Lake, Mississippi. It's never been easier to keep your car looking like a winner. Stay locked in, call in to win, and cash out thanks to Club Car Wash at clubcarwash.com.
Join the club. It's the Freedom of Choice pricing program, Ram Truck Month and Jeep celebration all in one at Gunnison Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2025 Compass Latitude 4x4, $49.69 off MSRP at $24,796 with Jeep Select Terrain System. Go from snow, sand, and mud. 2024 Dodge Hornet RT all-wheel drive, $12,673 off, or $397 a month with a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine standard. One of the most powerful SUVs in its class, or 0% for 72 months is available. 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab with best-in-class payload capacity, now $13,335 off MSRP, or 1.9 for 72 is available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
7704 MSRP 29765 Hornet R3 A08 452 MSRP 44620 Ram SN 673 402 MSRP 5170 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
You're hungry for good meat. Trust the family that has been feeding you since 1967. Charlie Hogan, Triangle Meat Company. Trust Triangle Meat for fresh beef, hamburger, and grub. Trust Triangle Meat for delicious pork, ribs, chops, and butt. And trust Triangle Meat for Virginia grilled butt. Feeding lots of pork. Triangle Meat Company has all the meat you need. Shop Triangle Meat Company.
Tiger Nation, spring football is here. Get your first look at Memphis football at the annual spring game Saturday, April 26th. Kickoff is set for 3 o'clock at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Admission and parking is free. It's Family Fun Day featuring Pouncers Pals, food trucks, prizes, and autographs. Tiger Bookstore will be there with a Memphis Athletics equipment sale. Be there, be loud, and go Tigers go. For more information, visit gotigersgo.com.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today is 2 million. 2 million. That's a big number. Maybe one of the bigger numbers that we have ever had during big number of the day. I saw this earlier when I was watching the Zurich Classic on ESPN Plus. They said there's estimated to be over 2 million alligators in the wild, and there are estimated to be over 20 at TPC Louisiana.
They stroll around like they have an all-access badge.
They sure do. I mean, that's
But
crazy.
it was their land first.
That's exactly right, and that is what is hilarious about
the
this.
bulldozers came in
right.
way after the alligators said, "This is our house."
Sure did. So good for the alligators for not backing down or anything. They're just they're gonna hang out there, and
pretty laid back, pretty chill, isn't it?
I guess so. Don't mess with them; they won't mess with you. Just go about your business.
That's all fine and good till one has a really bad day and decides, I'm going to mess with you. He wins.
What causes an alligator to have a bad day? I know it causes me to have a bad day, but what does an alligator have?
No alligator expert of mine, but here is my fear, and I don't know. Where's John Harden when we need him? This is that Hardenwood segment for sure. I don't know the mating season of alligators.
Point. Yeah, I don't either.
But I would imagine Mama Alligator, if it's any little ones around and she feels threatened by any of the patrons, then off with her leg.
Oh yeah, no, that could certainly be a bad day. That could certainly cause an alligator bad day. Well, that's all I got on alligators.
That camera shot last year, I'm not kidding. It was like one was in line for a hot dog and a cold beer.
Yeah, I mean, every year, that when we get down to Louisiana,
it was the video of the guy that came out of the porta-john.
That's right.
And one was staring back, and he had to shut the door real fast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah.
Now that'd be a real shake-up if you're in the porta.
Oh yeah.
Well,
So,
I've got mating habits and toilet humor all in one segment.
It is crazy. But I mean,
great,
the fact that in the state, 2 million alligators, and 20 of them are just on that small area of golf course. That's crazy.
I
insane.
would bet the number's bigger than that. But I would imagine Louisiana fishing game probably have a better handle on it than I do up in Memphis.
It's somewhere around 2 million is the number they put on the a little more than 2 million.
It's
and
the
they
20
said
I'm worried
a
about.
little more than 20. That's crazy.
That's more than one per hole, Brian.
Exactly. That is wild that you have that many alligators in the state, and then you have that many on just that small piece of land.
And invariably, that guy that kind of, whether it's caddy or fan, that might want to pick at one.
That's right. Yeah, you have a little fun. Maybe you're I
get
guess
a
we
good
don't
TikTok video going.
Exactly. I guess we don't have to use patron anymore.
Then he drags you out there and drowns you.
Yeah, you have one too many drinks.
See, that's something we don't have to worry about FedEx St. Jude Championship, do we?
It's a great point.
I see one alligator, I'll turn into Usain Bolt.
You've certainly been to more golf tournaments than I have at Southwind. I've been to a handful. Not once have I been walking around worried about an alligator. So that is a great point.
My big number is 80. Oklahoma City never led last night until there were 80 seconds left to play at the minute 20 mark. That's 80, isn't it?
That sure is.
At the minute 20 mark, they take their first lead. I can't say I felt it coming, but it was it was the slow drip.
Yeah.
I mean, 26, 22, 19, 7, 14, 10, 9, 7. They're ahead. They're down.
Yep.
Remember, they got ahead, and the Grizzlies. I thought they were just going to throw it in at 99-99.
Yeah. I mean, that was maybe the worst part of it is that it felt like when it was 99-99, that was it. Grizzlies are dead, and then they built that lead again. And I mentioned it earlier, they go nearly 5 minutes without the final, almost nearly 5 minutes without any points. That just cannot happen in an NBA playoff game.
Crushing loss.
I mean, just
soul-crushing loss.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the sky is falling loss for the Grizzlies.
The opposite of the elated Jack Buck. I can't believe what I just saw was the drive home. I can't believe what I just saw.
Well, I think that you mentioned that earlier, and I think I was grateful for that because I just watched it at home, and I just went to bed afterwards, and I worried about it today, and that's when kind of today I was like, oh my gosh, that happened last night.
It really happened.
You had to do it driving home. That's 10 times worse.
And we'll stay with this franchise. I mean, until the next playoff series win, 51 and blowing 29, will stay with you.
Yeah, it absolutely will. Well, we need to get to a break in just a second. We'll stick on this topic, talking Grizzlies, but before we do that, we're almost to the dinner hour, close enough to the dinner hour. People going out for an early bite to eat tonight, but maybe even this weekend you're thinking about somewhere to get some food. Well, you're in Memphis, and you think about the world-famous Memphis-style barbecue. When you're in Memphis, you can get that any night at the Commissary, with locations in Germantown and Collierville. Stop in for lunch or dinner, but you can also get it to go. Start your meal with an appetizer like the cheese plate, chicken wings, or my favorite, the barbecue nachos. For more than 40 years, the Commissary has been a staple in this area, and a big reason is because of the quality of food they serve. My go-to, it's got to be the ribs, but it's hard to resist the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled and get it by the plate or by the pound. Comes in handy with the sandwich packs. Feed the whole group with a 6-pack, 8-pack, even a 12-pack. And don't forget about the dessert like the delicious banana pudding, brownie, or the lemon icebox pie. Check out the entire menu and catering options at commissarybbq.com. Whether it's a watch party for your favorite team or maybe an office party, birthday, let the commissary cater your next event. Give them a call, 901-754-5540. Make any event perfect. But today, stop in at either location. In Germantown, open daily till 8 p.m. and in Collierville, open till 9 p.m. for the world-famous Memphis-style barbecue at the Commissary. Also, got to remind you about the Grizzlies playoff payoff. Listen, all day, every day, as long as the Grizzlies are in the playoffs, Monday through Friday, we'll be giving away $98.50 right here on Sports 56. You don't know when we're going to give it away, so you got to make sure you're listening. That's 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Could be given out at any point. Want to thank the sponsors, Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold inspector in the Mid-South, and Club Car Wash. Get 25% off any membership for 12 months right now at Club Car Wash. Again, make sure you stay tuned in. The Grizzlies playoff payoff is still going on as long as the Grizzlies are in the playoffs. Well, let's wrap up this hour, get to a break, and when we return, we're talking more Grizzlies with Gary Darby.
Spring is here, and it's the perfect time to give your home a little love with Choate's $93 spring deals. Got a slow or smelly drain? We'll clear it for just $93, or it's free if we can't. Also, your home's electrical system is working 24/7 behind the walls, and an inspection from Choate's can help catch hidden dangers before they become big problems. We're talking about outdated or overloaded panels, loose wiring that can spark fires, improper grounding or GFCI protection, breaker issues, flickering lights, and more. Our licensed electricians will perform a full home safety check, identify risks, and give you a plan to keep your family safe and your power running strong. All for just $93. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to book your appointment today. Choates Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Let our family serve your family.
Insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family-friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for a loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's on Highway 64 in Marlin, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill. Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Orlando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and tile, mattress, and shutters and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and will flourish your business. Showboats fans, the boats are back in action at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium on Sunday, May 11th, as they face the St. Louis Battlehawks with kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m. Come see all the football action of the UFL and join us as we celebrate our mascot Skipper's birthday. Treat Mom to a Mother's Day she'll never forget with more fun, more excitement, and more Showboats football. Get your tickets today at UFLShowboats.com. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. The fire department's behind what looks to be a small school bus. Not sure what's going on over here, but there's a little bit of rubbernecking going on. 240 westbound right at Airways as it builds 240 east getting onto 385 Billmore Parkway. It got a little bit heavy earlier over there on 40 eastbound around Covington Pike. Not sure. Well, I think they were dodging a piece of debris. Hey, dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions right now. You'll be glad you did. 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Club Safety once again.
You say you stand by your man. Tell me something I don't understand.
We're back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you as we start our third and final hour. We're live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now to talk some Grizzlies, Gary Darby from the Grizzlies Radio Network joins us now. Gary, thanks so much for joining us. Last night happened. I still don't really know what exactly happened in the second half. But after that Ja Morant injury, everything lost its composure, it felt like. Everything unwinded from there. What did you see post Ja Morant injury last night in FedEx Forum?
Well, first I'll apologize if I sound like Ross from Friends. Hi. Boy, that took a lot out of me, man.
Yeah.
That was just difficult. And, you know, what happened in the first half is the Grizzlies were getting into that fast break, right? They had struggled in those first two games to get out, get some easy looks, or to get the ball in the hands of Ja where he could distribute. And, you know, I mean, you look at his stat line through what he was able to play, 16 minutes, something like that? Yeah, right at 15 and a half minutes. And he had 5 assists in that. He was 6 of 11 and had scored 15 points in 15 and a half minutes, and turns out to be the only player that's a plus for the night. And then the second half, it was just a struggle to get the ball up the court. And once you got there, I mean, I'm sitting and watching, and I know most everyone else too, it would be half the shot clock gone before the ball ever really got moving into trying to find a shot, which left to some difficult looks, or dribble into the lane where you just had the ball taken away by, 3 Thunder jerseys who got around you. And by the way, kudos Alex Caruso. He guarded everybody, including the beer salesman in Section 104.
He locked down everybody.
Oh, my. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who it was. And I kept thinking, maybe you could take advantage of him when he was on Jaren. But, I mean, he was able to, physical enough to keep Jaron, away from the basket enough to then get some help. But it was just unable to get into the offense, unable to get those fast break points that they were getting. And I even thought, Vince Williams only played 30 seconds, but he gets the block, and then Kennard finally hits a three, and you go into halftime with a little something. And I thought, you know what, they're gonna hold on. I knew that OKC was going to make a run, but I thought they would hold on. But then when that run started happening, that sinking feeling came in. I was like, this is really going to be a struggle. And I think the shock is you do score 77 in the first half. You only score 31 in the second half. And that was just difficult. And you can credit the other side for the way they defended as that reason.
31 in the second half. Our guest, Gary Darby, on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. You hear Gary on Grizzlies radio, mostly on when the Grizzlies are on the road, but you hear Gary a lot. And, Gary, you know the Grizzlies' history very well. You've lived it. You've been there for it. Was last night the all-timer? Was that the most crushing loss? I said if that wasn't it, the triple overtime on a Monday night in 2011 to Oklahoma City, it was.
And do you remember, and this I want to think too was my first year, or it may have been the second year, when Nick Young went nuclear
2012.
and the Grizzlies had a 27, I think it was 24, going into the fourth quarter in the first game of the first round in the playoffs, and the Clippers came back and won. That was, I think, my welcome to the NBA moment, too.
2012, of all people, Swaggy P.
Swaggy P was the guy. But that was what was going through my mind, as I was sitting and watching. It just seemed so eerily similar when Chet Holmgren kept hitting shot after shot. They had multiple guys end up doing it. But, it was one of the more, to me, soul-crushing losses that I've been a part of. I got started in that lockout season of 2011, and there was a lot jumbled in to get there. But that game stands out to me when the Clippers, down 24, won that game in a playoff situation as well. And so, and the triple overtime sticks in there just as much. But for me, I think that was early in my time of being involved with the Grizzlies, and I realized nothing is safe in this league. There's there's always that opportunity in this league that it can happen.
And I thought at halftime, up 26, I wonder what the lead has to get to for Oklahoma City to go, okay, we'll get you Saturday and be up 3-1 and have the gentleman sweep 4-1 when we get back to Oklahoma City. But they were able to claw back. You mentioned Caruso, his hands. What I said earlier, if the ball ever gets – I said waist time. It's not even that. If you get it around your chest, he's going to pick it or he's going to disturb it. He's going to get his hands on the basketball.
There's no doubt. And that was one of the additions that they obviously were able to trade for and make, and what a great pull with everything else they already had as a more veteran guy. I mean, this is a really young basketball team, too, that have bought into the defensive side of things. Every one of them has bought in. I know that SGA scores all the point, whatever, but, he's okay defensively himself. And so they've bought into that. They've bought into sharing the basketball, letting, multiple people get involved. And you're right. If it got down in there, and the Grizzlies bigs, whether it was Jaren or Zach or whoever it might be, it seemed like Caruso was there, or, someone from OKC was bouncing it around. And I before we got started, I went back to see, because they've taken Des Bane almost out of things, right? Totally taken him out. And when you look, in the 3 games, Des is 13 for 43 overall and 5 for 24 from 3. And the fact that, he ends up taking what looked like some very long shots, might be bad shots, but in Dez's mind, it might be the best shot I get, and I've got to take it shots, because they're bothering him so much that when he does get that open look, he's not knocking down the normal ones that Dez knocks. I mean, that, too, has been a big key. I know throwaway game 1, you can lose by 51, but they bothered him in game 2, and when it was an 8-point game, shoved it back up, and then last night they still didn't let him get loose in a game where they were down at one point by 29. They made that guy work until the very end, and he had hands on knees. Obviously, had to come out and get a breath. Look, they've got a lot on that roster, and you can just pick and choose, and we can talk about almost any one of them. You know.
Yeah, well, I was just about to ask you about Desmond Bain. I mean, just really struggled last night. You mentioned the 3 games in this playoff series where he's really struggling. How about this? You mentioned he's made 5 3-pointers in these 3 games. He's had double the amount of turnovers in these 3 games.
Yeah.
10 turnovers, 5 made threes. It's really been a struggle for Desmond Bain. One of the bright spots, though, in that first half last night was Scottie Pippen Jr. Really came out, shot the ball well, was doing a really nice job offensively and defensively, getting a couple takeaways as well. But another guy in the second half really struggled, 1 for 6 from the field. It felt like the Thunder maybe not ready for him to come out and do what he did at the beginning of the game, but then went into half, made those adjustments, especially with Ja out, and really neutralized him in the second half.
Well, there was your answer when Ja was out.
Yep.
When Ja was on the floor, he had open looks, right? When Ja's not there, he had to have the basketball in his hand and work for that open look or to get everyone else the open look. He's obviously a very good NBA player, but that's asking a lot. When, the other guys, I mean, Luke has had to handle the basketball. Dez has had to handle the basketball. Santi has had to handle the basketball, but they're not point guards, right? And so you needed, and that's why I think that lineup has worked well at times with Ja and with Scotty. You get 2 ball handlers, and you get Scotty who can stand there and knock down that open 3. And that's why I think that was working so well. And then you had to ask so much out of him in half number 2, plus also trying to guard, and fight through all the screens and everything they do for SGA, or whether it's J-Will or J-Dub, I think is what they call the Santa Clara Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So you're dealing with all of that, and it just became way too much, and it just shows the difference that healthy Ja Morant makes and would make on every team. His ability to play make and score by himself, is so huge. And, you hate to see anybody go down to injury, but to me, that was it. I mean, that was the storyline. Ja Morant plays in the second half. They win that basketball game. I think I can say here today and safely say that.
And we feel good about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. If he stays healthy and it makes you
Or a
feel
heck
like
of a lot different we feel today.
They've got a chance to at least get this thing to 6 games, right? Get it back home for game 6 and then see what happens. But now, you watch what happened last night, and it makes the feeling, totally different.
And Gary, I don't want to drag you into this, but it also makes you feel that the 51-point margin on Sunday and then the collapse last night, it feels like fork in the road for maybe some really big changes.
I think at this point in a lot of people's season and a lot of these playoff teams,
that's right.
There are a lot of teams that are going to have some really difficult decisions. I know Milwaukee just extended their GM, but they have, right? I mean, there's a lot of teams that, yes, just like I believe you're right, the Grizzlies will have to sit back, look at this roster, and think of, okay, what direction do we want to go with it now, or can we go with it now? When you look at the possibilities of the draft, well, your pick's going away, correct? So you got to and he's really good at making some moves and doing some things, and so it won't be surprising if there is because there typically is a draft day kind of trade for the Grizzlies and other decisions to kind of work with to move this roster in one direction or another,
And I think both being fair and stating the obvious, tomorrow at the opening tip we'll be without 3 starters.
Oh yeah.
I mean, who can do that?
Last time we talked about we could see the importance of Brandon Clark and what he would have meant in that Golden State game, right? And then you're dealing without Jalen Wells. I think that's one of the things that you do know, at least with Wells, hopefully, is that he can come back, and again that Brandon can come back. But what decisions are made between now and then, who knows? But you are missing. I mean, you look at the rotation, and I mean, John Conchar was not getting rotation minutes until the playoffs. I mean, it just wasn't. And then those injuries happened. Now, give John Conchar all credit in the world. He's played just fine for the minutes he's had. I got no problems with John Conchar. And then Marvin Bagley wasn't seeing minutes until some of these play-in situations and early in this series. So you've had to go deep, but that's what you had hoped this roster was deep enough to do, and it just hasn't been able to work against OKC. It all goes back to, just what if they could have gotten that game at Golden State and then taken their chances with Houston. We can all go back and do things, and that one kind of came up in my head as I'm talking about it. But
here's my go back.
Here's where you are.
Here's my go back. Scottie Pippen, don't make the bounce pass to Ja.
Yeah,
just finish.
Yeah, I guess I know you're trying to get your shot not blocked by Dort, and then just the unfortunate It's just the freak thing that Dort slips. Can't get out of the way, and he's right in the way where Ja
Unbelievable.
flips over him and goes down. Yeah, it's just one of those freak things that really happened with Jimmy Butler the night before.
And when Ja hit the floor, he was up there as he is, Skywalker. I mean, just suspended there and came down. I thought he had broken his entire breastbone chest.
The arm looked awkward to me, and I didn't know what.
It all looked awkward. I mean,
it did. Yeah, I didn't know exactly what was going on, but obviously he had no chance to catch himself or to brace himself and do anything.
Now, did he have to shoot those free throws, or did he try to?
He had to shoot them if he was going to come back in the game.
Okay.
If he would have just walked off into the locker room, he was done. But I guess the thought was, if he shoots them, and by miracle of miracles, we can get him back out on the floor.
He staggered to the line. I didn't know that he was going to make it to the line.
Exactly. But that's the reasoning. Like, had he just gone straight back locker room, they could have picked anybody else out and maybe made a free throw or two, but Ja could not have come back in the game were that possible.
Wow. Gary, what have you thought about the play from the rookie Zach Edey this series?
Learning experience, right? And I think the whole season has been. But it's been a learning experience for him, and one where you can tell he is, I will say this, he never really has backed down from a challenge. He's been challenged a ton. When people look and see a 7'4" guy, they try and go at him, but he's probably seen more guys almost eye level than at any point in time in his career, and different kind of guys, dealing with Hartenstein, dealing with Holmgren, dealing with whatever else might be there. I'm okay with what Zach Edey has done this season. I think he's learned a lot, hopefully learned a lot, and in the off season there will be a lot of staying stronger with the basketball, keeping the basketball up, because when that's happened, he's unstoppable in and around the rim, truthfully. So I think it's the realization I am still bigger than everybody else, not by much, but I am still bigger than a lot of these guys, and I can just take my time and get some easy shots. And for him, the healthy John Morant just makes his game so much better with all the lobs and everything we've seen. But I'm okay with what we've seen out of Zach Edey this season, and I think it's a learning experience. It's going to make him hopefully better for us in years to come.
Gary, last night I was at the Grizzlies game and trying to keep up with the draft because I was very interested on the entire draft, but where the Ole Miss guys were going, and it ended up being a Brett and Gary kind of night. But this is your life. We've seen Abdul Carter. We've seen Campbell from LSU. We've seen all the Ole Miss guys. We watched every single play Jackson Dart played in his college career, in his fabulous college career. The second round, I think, is going to have some intrigue with us. We were there the night we saw Tyler Shuck. I don't know how he came up with Shuck out of Shoughh. You had to help me with the pronunciation that night, Gary. But we saw him put it to Ole Miss at Texas Tech. He's been about 5 places since then. The draft had a little bit of everything last night, but I know you were celebrating, like all of us, about Jackson Dart and and getting to the New York Giants. He's only 366 away from tying Eli Manning for most touchdown passes in Giants history.
Well, and I don't know how many of those passes come next year. That's why when I saw the trade, and in my mind while watching the Grizzlies and had the tracker going, where I was keeping up with them, like, they're going to take Dart. They're actually going to do it. And they did. And, of course, he can sit there behind Russell Wilson, maybe in an occasional step in from my guy Jameis Winston, and just sit there and learn a little bit. It wasn't
like Eli did with Kurt Warner.
Exactly. Not a pick where he's got to go out there and be the face of the Giants immediately. He can learn, he can watch, and, you know that the Giants are hoping they can get at least the 1 year out of Russell. I don't know if they'll ask for two, but I think you see that they drafted for down the line in that spot. They wanted him for down the line, so they went and got him. And you're right. You look at the 32 that were drafted, 15 SEC players. We've watched them all. 11 of the guys out of the Big Ten. We saw all the Penn State guys and a couple of others along the way. So it was a lot of familiar names. And, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. I remember that guy.
And for Abdul Carter, I remember us talking about him pregame. I don't remember him making many plays in that game in the Peach Bowl.
No, he didn't. There was a lot of tight end use by Penn State in that one.
We saw a lot of him.
Right. So very familiar there, but you're right. And I think that was in part because, in the system that was going, a lot of quick outs and things and the runs that were there and some of the quarterback runs that even, Dart was able to make in that game. I'm with you. I don't remember much out of that. But, yeah, I think it went a lot like most expected. I mean, maybe there were some changes. I tell you what I liked about the whole draft. Cam Ward started an incarnate word, for goodness sakes, and I know that Deion was at Jackson State, but you get Travis Hunter to go there first before making a move somewhere else. There are guys all over the place that get left out. I said this on my show. Not the first Jackson State guy, but I'm proud to see, he took the choice to come to one of the Mississippi SWAC schools. Each one of them's had their guy, right, that have gone on and done big things.
Yep.
And now you get another one that started his career there. To me, it just proves, and especially now, we're going to see more of these kind of guys that started out in those spots, and the NIL has moved them into a Power 5 situation that it might not have done in years past. That might be about the only good thing that could be coming out of some of the craziness that we see. Is I like those first two picks. They didn't start out at one of those Power 5 schools. They worked their way to the Power 5 school.
Yeah, definitely some really good stories, and I'm sure we'll see some more good stories tonight with the second and third round. Gary, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again soon.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Gary. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Gary Darby joining us, talking Grizzlies, but also talking a little bit of NFL draft with us.
What do you want from the Cowboys second round?
I'd like a weapon, if one of those receivers is there. I know Landon was talking about Burden. If Burden's around, maybe. I don't think he probably will be, but maybe get a weapon. But that's kind of always the thing, is when you get to night two, it's kind of like, give me something fun. Give me something I can get excited about. And so, if they, with everybody mocking them to go get running back or receiver in the first round, and then they go get offensive line, I'd like to see them get, one of those skill positions tonight.
I think at some point we'll get to Jackson Dart as the starter for the Giants. That would give all four starting quarterbacks in the NFC East all SEC guys.
Wow. Yeah. Well, as long as
Daniels,
as long as they're all still there
Hurts,
when he starts.
Dak and Dart.
Yeah, I only really am worried about one of them not still being there, and it's my quarterback. But he's probably still going to be there.
You think on the clock this year?
I mean,
could be.
Could be. I mean, yeah. I would hope so, but nothing that this organization does tells me he will be. But
hadn't Green Bay been great?
No, it's been awesome. It
looks
been so
cold and just raw as it can be.
Today looks even worse than yesterday.
It does, but for those people, I mean, their forefathers set out in the ice bowl that Bob Lilly said after the game, we were lucky somebody didn't die.
That's right. I mean, it's and then seeing all of the houses that are like, 2 or 3 miles away and selling their front yard for parking. Like, cash in. I love it. I love it. And I was talking, because there are a lot of houses closer than 2 or 3 miles out. And I said, if I was one of those houses, because I was talking to my brother Connor, and he was like, yeah, I mean, if you live in one of those houses that's right there next to the stadium, you can just walk to the draft and go, forget walking to the draft. I'm heading somewhere warm, and I'm selling my house. I'm Airbnb-ing my house for the weekend and making some money. I'm telling someone else they can walk to the draft from their Airbnb
the Packers,
spot.
They did it right. They kept their history. I mean, it's Lambeau Field. It's where Lombardi coached, but it doesn't resemble.
No.
It's like these college stadiums. I mean, that Neyland Stadium didn't look like that in 1950.
No. It might still be Neyland Stadium, but it is night and day different.
But in how they have cashed in on making Titletown, the area in and around the stadium, to make it football, NFL football lore Disneyland.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is so cool. And, Gary mentioned Travis Hunter going to Jacksonville. I saw a video earlier today from back when Travis Hunter was at Jackson State. And, again, I understand he was number 1 recruit, made the decision to go to Jackson State, was supposed to go to Florida State. But Jackson State was playing, I believe it was when they played Florida A&M. They were playing in Jacksonville. The game was being played in Jacksonville, and they were walking across the field. And one of his teammates was recording him, was like, say something to the camera, Travis. And he was like, man, it's just so cool to be here on this field. And he goes, I don't want to say anything crazy. He goes, but I just feel one day I'm going to be a top pick in the NFL draft, and I'm going to be playing a lot of Sundays here. And, then it plays out just like that. So some really cool stories there.
And they're getting ready to basically rebuild the stadium in Jacksonville. And it needs it. They got a long way to go to replicate Lambeau.
They definitely do. But Lambeau, they have gotten it right seemingly in every aspect. Last night was a lot of fun, and I'm sure tonight
how about the little baby
that
had to spit up moment? I like that.
Hey, I guess
it happens.
One of those you get so excited that you've now become a millionaire that you spit up a little bit. Yeah, I guess so. But no, some really cool stuff from the draft last night, and hopefully we get some better stories tonight as well with the second and third rounds. But before we get to a break, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. They've been partnering with us for a while now, and they have been the premier Jaguar dealership in this area. They've got a talented team that's ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable prices. So make sure this weekend, it'll be a perfect time. The weather looks nice to swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. I saw someone the other day driving one of those brand new 2025 Range Rover Sports, and it is a beautiful vehicle. So why don't you go out there and test drive it? It's where luxury meets performance, a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender. Available in multiple models to fit your needs, the Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Sunrise and Color
Cost, registration fees, taxes, and dealer dock fee of $899.50, which are paid by the consumer. Inventory combined from both Sunrise locations. New 25 Silverado. Stock number SG103857. 6,000 dealer discount expires 4/30/25.
Tiger Nation, spring football is here. Get your first look at Memphis football at the annual spring game Saturday, April 26th. Kickoff is set for 3 o'clock at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Admission and parking is free. It's Family Fun Day featuring Pouncers Pals, food trucks, prizes, and autographs. Tiger Bookstore will be there with a Memphis Athletics equipment sale. Be there, be loud, and go Tigers go. For more information, visit gotigersgo.com.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for a loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's on Highway 64 in Marlin, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable. Wall-to-wall TVs, 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music Monday, Tuesdays, daily special. Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill, Lakeland's Town Square. 70 channels, daily special, weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Fill your spring with brilliant style at Sissy's Log Cabin. From the latest designer trends to one-of-a-kind pieces to exquisite diamonds, you'll find the jewelry you need for a stylish spring while enjoying the Sissy's promise of unmatched quality, service, and selection. Experience Sissy's for yourself when you stop by any of our 6 locations or shop online at sissyslogcabin.com. Create the style of your dreams only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
It's the Freedom of Choice pricing program, Ram Truck Month and Jeep celebration all in one at Gunnison Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2025 Compass Latitude 4x4, $49.69 off MSRP at $24,796 with Jeep Select Terrain System. Go from snow, sand, and mud. 2024 Dodge Hornet RT all-wheel drive, $12,673 off, or $397 a month with a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine standard. One of the most powerful SUVs in its class. Or 0% for 72 months is available. 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab with best-in-class payload capacity, now $13,335 off MSRP, or 1.9 for 72 is available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
6704 MSRP 29765 Hornet R3 A08 452 MSRP 44620 Ram SN 673 402 MSRP 5170 includes all rebates and incentives PF 895 excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Online radio show is on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC sports film, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey from kickoff early through to extra innings. Your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still some flashing lights over here as they wrap up an accident. It's still causing a little bit of rubbernecking delays on 40 westbound at Sycamore View Road. Of course, we all know the heaviest flow of traffic this time of day is going eastbound in that area, headed on out towards Germantown. Parkway continuing out towards Fayette County. 240 still a little bit busy as you get onto 385 Bill Morris. Parkway going outbound. Dandelions, crabgrass, that's not a problem for Lawn Solutions to make your yard look really good this spring and summer. Call Lawn Solutions right now. I promise you they're affordable. That number is 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. A couple things trending this afternoon, but something we haven't talked about. Memphis spring game tomorrow afternoon, Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium, 3 o'clock. We'll see a lot of new with this group, and obviously a lot of position battles open and that people will be talking about. But the biggest one is that head guy at the quarterback position. It feels like it's going to be the veteran Brendan Lewis that transferred in from Nevada, but a lot of people excited to see Antoine Hill Jr. In his first reps wearing a Tiger uniform. So I think tomorrow afternoon going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I'll be out there to watch all these new guys and excited to see what's out there.
Good. And changing times for Tigers football after a historic run, I don't know when we see the next 4-year starting quarterback again anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, going into last year we were talking about, look at all of these top quarterbacks and veteran quarterbacks in college football, and one thing was the same about all of them, and one thing very different from Seth Hennigan, it was that they've all been around, but they've all bounced around in at least 2 schools, whereas Seth Hennigan, comes in as a freshman, has to get kind of thrown in there because of injuries, and, never gave the position back up, and so, and then never left, And
it could be during the game, and I guarantee you, the game ops will nail this.
Oh, yeah.
The announcement of where Seth Hennigan, if he's drafted tomorrow, it could come during the game.
It definitely could, and that is going to be a part that could be fun. Really fun tomorrow, because it's not just Seth Hennigan. You could see Chandler Martin get drafted. You could see Rock Taylor, and any of those 3 could get drafted during the spring game. So, yeah, it'd be really fun to have that, or even if it comes before, having a moment to kind of announce in front of everybody, X-player from Memphis got drafted to wherever. That would be really cool tomorrow.
Fun fact tomorrow. You can tell your buddies you're sitting with. You can throw this nugget at them. You ready?
I'm ready.
17 weeks from tomorrow is the start of college football.
Holy cow.
Week 0.
You know
18 weeks you'll be back at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium for the Tigers
Of
opener.
course you have that number. Of course you know it. I love it. 17
Countdown's
weeks
on.
till week 0. I got to write that down so I don't forget about it.
With the announcement yesterday of Lions-Chargers in the Hall of Fame game from last night, we're just 14 weeks to the Hall of Fame game.
Oh, man. I can't wait. So all I could think
July
about last
31.
night. All I could think about last night was preseason NFL football. I can't wait for it.
I may watch more next year than I ever have.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be so much to watch.
To see the development of the quarterback, Seth Hennigan, wherever he might land, and Jackson Dart and all the others, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
That'd be his time.
Exactly. We'll see a lot of him in that Hall of Fame game. But I do. We've talked a little bit about Jackson Dart getting drafted. Obviously, you and Gary Darby talked about it a little bit in our last segment. I like this spot for Jackson Dart, going to a place where they already went out there and they got a veteran quarterback on a very short contract. You really just want him to come in for 1 year, maybe 2 years, but an opportunity for Jackson Dart to go in there, really learn the system, kind of watch the game of the NFL, understand that new pace of it, and then, once you're done with Russell Wilson, hopefully it's an easy transition to Jackson Dart. I really like the spot.
He won them over, and it's also a testament to, it's not going to be every year. It's not going to be every single player every single year. But Jackson Dart committed to the bowl game, played the full bowl game.
That's right.
Played all, didn't want to come out when he did. Then he did Mobile. He did Combine. He did the 40s. He did the pro day. He did when the Giants said, hey, you come here for Dayball's own personal workout as Sanders and other quarterbacks did. He won them over.
No, you're right. And I don't want to, I know a lot of people ever since really the week started and we've seen Shedeur Sanders kind of going in the opposite direction. It's been those two against each other. I don't want to do that, but at the same time, that's kind of been the knock on Shedeur Sanders, is he didn't do all of the, combine and Senior Bowl and all of that stuff. He's been very limited in terms of talking with teams and working out for teams, and it's been a lot more limited. Whereas Jackson Dart was very open to, I want to be out here and competing, and I want to show everybody what I've got. And so very clearly the Giants saw that and fell in love with it. And I even saw Joe Shane's son yesterday morning posting highlight clips of Jackson Dart on his Instagram page. So maybe we should have all known before the draft even started that the Giants wanted them a quarterback, and they knew exactly which one they wanted.
And I didn't realize this, that Joe Shane has a daughter in school at Ole Miss right now.
Yeah. I think I knew. I think that came up during the last year, the off-season Hard Knocks.
How quickly do you think the jerseys will be for sale? You think I could order one now? Do we know what number?
That's the thing, Brett, is the NFL tries to get you where they'll throw out the get your first round draft pick jersey, but they're all number one because of first round. Now, for Landon, that works because
Ward is already on pre-sale.
You can already order, and
Warren
you know
Moon
what
gave
number
the go
he's
ahead.
going to be.
Warren Moon gave
He's going to be number
Top
one.
shelf classic.
But it's awesome. But for these other guys, you don't know what number they're going to be. So I will tell you, Brett, you got to wait. You got to be patient. And then once we figure out what number it is, then it'll be on sale. You can get
I'm going to throw you a curveball. I'm definitely going to get one since I have the blue home team jersey for Eli. I'm going to get the white roadie for Dart.
I love it. Get one of both. I love it.
Why not get the red one?
I think he should get.
Do they ever wear the red one very much though?
I don't think so anymore.
Have you seen the
Red Titan ones?
The throwback one that they unveiled like last year, where it was like
the Century.
Get one of those. Get one of those. Yeah,
that was when you could fold up your helmet, put it in your pocket days.
That was I don't know who came up with that as like let's run this one back. That was awful. That was a terrible decision.
It's like the Bumblebee uniform for the Steelers.
Exactly.
And sometimes the Packers will break out.
There's some, I understand.
You can go too far back in nostalgia.
It's cool to, do the whole throwback and let's look back at our history, but there's no way in a group of people, there was not a room of people that sat down and go, yeah, that's the one we got to go with.
I think we've gotten two throwback.
We have.
And Major League Baseball started it. And I've said, okay, if you're going to do that, let's embrace the whole thing. Let's throw back to ticket prices from that era.
I'd love that. But you're not going to do
They're
that.
not doing that.
You're not going to do that. Absolutely not. If anything, they'll go even more futuristic with the ticket prices.
But this should be great motivation for Shedeur Sanders. I don't think it's the end of the world at all.
No.
And this is the beginning of the story. This is not the end of it.
Yeah,
not close.
No, and look, it might be the best thing for him,
I'd say the same thing if Dart was the one uncomfortably waiting.
Exactly. And, it's all about how do you go about it? You talked about it earlier with guys in NIL money. How does Shedeur Sanders go about it? I just fell to the second round. I just fell to the third round, whatever it is. There was this team that needed quarterbacks. They passed on me in the first round. Do you take that and do you kind of go, well, whatever? Or do you take it and go, I've got a chip on my shoulder and I'm going to prove them wrong? Because Shedeur Sanders is very talented. He can go out there and prove everybody wrong if he wanted to.
Brian, if you had to pick a game from the 3 years at Ole Miss, that game got Jackson Dart drafted, which one would you pick?
It might be an easy one, but the Georgia game.
It's no doubt.
And him coming back from the injury and looking great afterwards, that was kind of if you want who is Jackson Dart as a player, that is the game that you pop on first, I think.
Yeah.
The second game would probably be the bowl game where he's going deep when the game's already behind. That's just he's a competitor.
Went a little too deep.
Yeah, he sure did.
Was told to rein it in.
Sure did.
Jordan Watkins drew one up.
Sure did. But that's Jackson Dart.
He made two throws in the Duke game. One, the corner out to Daquan Wright that took out every cameraman in that corner, and then to the other end zone to Jordan Watkins. Rushed to against his body, whipped his hips around, got his feet set, and a strike in the end zone. And they didn't. The playing in the bowl game helped him.
It absolutely did. You are absolutely right, no doubt about it. How many quarterbacks go tonight? 2 rounds.
It feels like a couple.
Yeah, it does.
All right, Shuck, Shedeur, Milroe. McCord?
Cord could go.
Howard
could go. Howard could go. I just don't know. I mean, it.
And who the needy?
Exactly. I think that's the thing is how many quarterback needy teams are going to be in that mix and go with a quarterback. And then after that, how many teams that don't really need a quarterback just say, hey, we'll draft our backup right now? Because I don't know if there's many of those teams.
Right. You're a very fair-minded person. Again, I didn't get to watch any of the draft last night. I got it all over the phone, and however I could get it a time or two walking by a TV trying to pick up some.
Sure.
Yes or no, did they overdo Shedeur Sanders last night?
Yeah. I mean, they definitely did. And not that it was a good or bad thing that they did it, but I do think it was a thing that everybody knows he's the biggest story. Whether it's good, bad, indifferent, people are talking about Shedeur Sanders. They talked about him all year long. They talked about him when he got his jersey retired. They talked about him all the way through pre-draft, warm-up, whatever, all the way leading up to the draft. And then all the night, everyone, whether you were watching ESPN or not, you were going, oh man, he's sliding, he hasn't been picked yet. And I think ESPN knows that people want to talk Shedeur, people want to hear Shedeur. So I think they kind of pushed, let's do a lot of Shedeur. But it was a lot at times. I think Mel Kiper, win the first round, and Landon, you would probably know more than, or remember more than I do. Cam Ward gets picked first. They talk a couple minutes about him, and then it's immediately talking about Shedeur Sanders. And it's like, okay, well, this guy just got drafted number one. So yeah,
they
it was
just
a little too
showed Quinn Ewers, and he's waiting out the draft at his family's home. They're obviously big outdoor and hunters.
Yeah.
It was every animal head from hunting you can imagine around him. They've killed everything.
I believe it. That does not surprise me at all. Another thing, speaking of Cam Ward, did you see the player comp he got last night when he got drafted?
I did not. Who was it?
No,
Patrick Mahomes. Look.
That's
that's right. He did.
Let's calm down.
Let's get our first career completion before we do that.
Well, Dan Orlovsky actually just compared him and said the reason Titans fan needs to be excited is because you've got the new Steve McNair at the helm.
I like that. That's,
Let's get our first career start before we're comparing to McNair.
Yeah, but look,
let's get our first practice under our belts.
Yeah. Let's put the pads on.
Let's go do an OTA.
Let's actually get in a Titans
Let's
uniform.
go through the chow line first.
I get it. You've got to compare these players to somebody. It's become a big thing in both the NFL and the NBA draft. But it is always funny, whether it is the NFL or NBA, some of the guys that these draft selectees get compared to. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes last night for Cam Ward. Well, let's get to our final break, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show. We'll wrap up this week with Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? We have it covered at Humdinger. It's quick, it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. Many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Owning your own home is wonderful, and buying your own home can be wonderfully easy. If your agent is Margie O'Neill of Remax Expert, Margie has over 20 years of experience in helping folks just like you find their new home. Buyer's market, seller's market, up or down markets, Margie has sold them all with a dedication that makes it easy for you to buy your new home. Margie O'Neill at Remax.net. That's MARGIE.ONEAL at Remax.net. Or call 901-685-6000 for your new home. Margie O'Neill makes it easy.
Go where you can buy with confidence, because at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, no current inventory is affected by new tariffs. So come find your new ride at Gossett Mitsubishi, like 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid with a combined range of 420 miles. We Gossett at only $349 per month. Or take your pick from new 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Your choice, we Gossett. Only $399 a month. That's a brand spanking new Eclipse Cross or Outlander Sport, $399 a month. Plus, peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So forget the tariffs and remember to get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or online anytime at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
SEO 11871, MSRP 46,000. Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545. Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a Mother Pheasant Plucker, I pluck Mother Pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Fiveash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from the Mediterranean diet or steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family of families still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Tiger Nation, spring football is here. Get your first look at Memphis football at the annual spring game Saturday, April 26th. Kickoff is set for 3 o'clock at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Admission and parking is free. It's Family Fun Day featuring Pouncers Pals, food trucks, prizes, and autographs. Tiger Bookstore will be there with a Memphis Athletics equipment sale. Be there, be loud, and go Tigers go. For more information, visit GoTigersGo.com.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned yesterday I mentioned that Gilbert Arenas' son Elijah was placed into a medically induced coma because of smoke inhalation after a car crash that he had earlier that morning. He was driving a Tesla Cybertruck in that accident, and then today, Shams Charania reported that he is out of the coma and making progress in his recovery. Video and pictures came out last night from the incident. Really scary stuff. I mentioned that Cybertruck that's kind of known for security and not, windows not breaking easily. There's been a report from the guy that came in and really saved Elijah's life of he heard banging, he didn't see anything, but then realized that there was somebody in the car and really had to struggle to try to get him out of that car, trying to find a way in to get him out. So definitely praying for Elijah Arenas and his family, but it does look like good news today.
That ended a lot better than it first sounded like it might. What I learned today, that 25th spot that Jackson Dart went last night, that's the same spot, 25, that Tim Tebow was selected in. It's also the same spot that Aaron Rodgers was selected in. All right, I'd kind of settle right now for somewhere in between. but for careers, here's the goal. Push Russell Wilson. Make it tough on Brian Daboll and the Giants on who to start on opening day. Make it tough.
Absolutely. And I think he can. What I could have done without today, well, it was the game last night for the Memphis Grizzlies, and really death by Alex Caruso last night. He was fantastic in that second half. The tenacity he played with. The Grizzlies don't have anybody anywhere close to what Caruso brings to a game. In the fourth quarter, Caruso against Jaren Jackson Jr. First possession, forced a turnover by stripping the ball. Second possession, Jaren made a field goal. Third possession, he missed a field goal, got the rebound, and then was stripped. Then the fourth possession, stripped again. I believe one of those strips was ruled as a block shot instead of a steal, but Caruso was all over the place last night. Said he got up in front of the team in the locker room at halftime and said, guys, there's a lot of time left. Let's just start slowly trimming this lead down, and then we can pounce. That's exactly what they did.
I could have done without another jaw injury. It was ugly. It's just been too many. I say deal him now. He's worth more now than he will ever be worth ever again. The new front office, after Wexler and Kleiman are out, after they're fired, they've got to move Ja now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, whether it's that one or one of these other guys, it feels like there's going to be some major moves this offseason. And it feels like maybe a lot of moves from top to bottom in this organization. Where are you beaming this weekend?
Minneapolis. I really wouldn't ever go back there after 8 days at Super Bowl 52. So just in the beaming machine, send me back there for the game tonight. It should be fun between Wolves and Lakers. And for building security there, and I'm serious about this, no goofy stuff with any protesters.
No.
If somebody glues themselves to something, they get out the best way they can.
That's right. I hope we've gotten away from the. I don't remember what they were.
Or the
protesting
handcuff person.
Yeah, I don't remember what they were protesting at the time. Hopefully, we've moved
always
past
a
that.
protest.
Always a protest. Being me to the Memphis Spring game tomorrow afternoon. I mentioned I'll be there. Really
That's great.
excited to see the new quarterbacks, see the new receivers, see this new offensive defensive line. A lot of questions that we will get a little bit of an answer to tomorrow afternoon.
Playoffs tomorrow at FedEx Forum, spring game, golf, Zurich Classic, NFL Draft, spring games, baseball, college, and pro.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun weekend. So much going on, like you mentioned, all the action out there, the draft, all the games should be a lot of fun. Enjoy this weekend, and we'll talk to you again Monday afternoon.